Well, aloha. Welcome inside David E. Hastings Stadium in Guelph. It is Hawaiian night as the Guelph Royals take on the Hamilton Cardinals. It is the back half of a home-and-home between these two teams. Mark Perry, Noam Streifer here in the booth. We will have the call for you here tonight. And Noam, as alluded to, they played last night in Hamilton and Guelph. They got it done early. They got it done not as often, but they got the job done for their fifth win in a row.
Yeah, a 5-2 victory for the Guelph Royals against the Hamilton Cardinals last night out in Hamilton, and it took a while for the Guelph bats to get rolling. You know, they scored a couple in the first, then again in the fifth, and then they sealed the deal in the ninth. But it was definitely, the credit goes towards the pitching. Adam Frias threw 3 innings of no runs, of striking out 4. It was kind of a committee effort on the night for the Royals.
Well, and you look at the standings now, the implications that game had. Now the Royals just a game and a half back of the Hamilton Cardinals for that fifth spot in the playoffs. By the way, Guelph does clinch a playoff spot with a win here tonight, but the more important stat line and the more important thought going into tonight and into the month of August here for the Royals is how far they could potentially climb. There is some games happening right now. Kitchener with an early 2-0 lead on Chatham-Kent. That's a game to definitely keep a watch on because Guelph is just 2 games back of the Barnstormers as well. So Guelph, there's an opportunity for them where they could climb into that final spot to get home field advantage in the first round of the playoffs. And not only do you worry about standings watching, but you got to get the job done on the field. And tonight, including tonight, I should say, Guelph and Hamilton meet up 3 times. So a big season series that could have major playoff implications.
Yeah, Hamilton and Guelph sitting one after another in the standings, so those last 3 games really could end up being the deciding factor for who ends up with home field advantage in the IBL playoffs, and it also could very well end up being the Royals versus the Cardinals in that first round of the playoffs. So it's something that we're going to have to take a good look at heading into the last 3 weeks of this season.
And when you think about it too, these matchups could also decide the tiebreaker, because they do meet 6 times in a year. And these games are really going to, carry a lot of weight. Say these two teams end up matching up and end up tied in the standings following the 42 games. I should mention that August 12th, a Tuesday night here in Guelph, that makeup game has been made official. So Guelph and Hamilton will meet Tuesday, August 12th, as part of that rain out makeup game from last week. Well, the Guelph Royals, hottest team in the IBL, and there's a reason why. You take a look at this hot streak that they've been on the last 5 games. I mean, the runs scored per game basically doubled compared to what they have been doing throughout the season. The runs against down slightly, but home runs have picked up. The batting average has really picked up. The team ERA has dropped down, cut in half almost compared to what the season average has been. So, I mean, you take a look at what they have been able to do in this 5-game stretch. This is the time for them to really hammer down, and they have really done so.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I've said, heading into the last little bit of the season, it's kind of a make-or-break time of year for the Guelph Royals. And I would say that part of the reason for this sudden change in their play has been sort of the strength in the lineup. They've gotten some other people other than Takamatsu who have started providing protection for Takamatsu. Franklin Torres had a big home run against Kitchener. Mark Nellis had 2 homers against Kitchener as well. So big offensive performance for the Royals in that game. In that 5-game stretch, Kenny Pena is batting .667, which is absolutely incredible. He'll be batting third for the Guelph Royals tonight. And of course, I think the best pitching outing from this stretch has been from Brandon Deans. He threw 7 innings of 1-run ball against Brantford. He struck out 11. So, Brantford not very much a player in the IBL standings, but when you can make up that win, even against a bottom feeder team, it's sort of something that really articulates how good this Guelph Royals team has been doing as of late.
Win the games that you're supposed to win, and we'll see on the field here right now as Luis Bernardo and Dino Ramel having a couple of words, and I think they're kind of signaling to the officials the out of bounds and making sure that the fans are staying out of bounds. But again, you touched on that game in Kitchener. That was back on July 27th, and a game where the Guelph Royals really opened it up, particularly in that 6th inning where they ended up sending 13 players to the dish. They had about 5 home runs in that game, and it's part of this 5-game stretch that they have been on, Noam, but this is kind of what we expected here in Guelph. It's a team that was younger to start the year and waited for these pieces to really come into the lineup. And, guys like Franklin Torres come in. Kaner Pena ends up being a surprise acquisition as well. Former MVP in Claudio Custodio ends up coming in. Brandon Deans, of course, has been around all season long. With that 11th strikeout performance, that ended up getting him Pitcher of the Week honors in the IBL. The big bats have really started to pick things up. You talked about isolating, Garrett Takamatsu and really kind of supporting around him when it comes to the offense. And I think that Adam Fanjoy and Ryan Eakin have really done a good job of that in bringing in some of these key bats. And bats that they've already had in the lineup all season long really starting to pick up. Namely, Liam Wilson has been a major piece in this roster all season.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said about Takamatsu, just the surrounding batters around him in these last few games have been excellent, and they're making it so that other pitchers are throwing more strikes against Takamatsu, and that's showing. He's batting .421 in his last 19 at bats. No homers, but tons of RBIs, tons of hits, and lots of runs scored for Takamatsu.
Code Blue, CJ Graham on the mound. He is going to throw out the ceremonial first pitch, just winning the 365 Pro Wrestling Grand Championship on the weekend. He's a Guelph boy, and he is a champion trying to climb the ranks. He's only been a wrestler for about 2 years now, and he's really climbed the ranks in that promotion, as well as other promotions in the Ontario independent wrestling scene. And the hometown boy getting ready to throw out the first pitch. It was Paul Ante who actually invited him over to do it. And, of course, the Hall of Famer ends up being the one to catch the baseball here. They're giving him a long introduction, that's for sure. His accolades really precede him.
Yeah, well, he's definitely earned that introduction, being the hometown kid, all those awards.
And SummerSlam weekend as well, so wrestling is definitely something on the top of mind. By the way, if you're watching SummerSlam tonight, don't forget you can dual screen as well. You can watch the show there, and you can also watch us as this game goes along. As after that long introduction, and well-deserved, everybody getting up on their feet, and he ends up airmailing it over Paul Ante. I think CJ said before the game that he was a little nervous to throw out that first pitch.
I do got to say, that wasn't that bad of a throw. I think that Paul Ante just wasn't able to get the glove to it. But, all great honor here to throw out the first pitch at David E. Hastings Stadium in Guelph.
Again, these two teams, Guelph Royals and the Hamilton Cardinals, meeting up here tonight here at Hastings Stadium in Guelph. It is their third meeting, their fourth meeting of the season, I should say. Guelph has taken the first three, so a win tonight would clinch the season series here as well.
Yeah, well, like you mentioned before, that's just so incredibly important heading into these last few weeks. That season series could very, very well decide who gets home field advantage in the playoffs. These teams have been neck and neck in the standings as of late, and home field advantage for the Royals could very well be the difference maker needed for them to get over the hump in that first round of the playoffs.
CJ getting a round of applause as he will head off. And you look at these previous games that these two teams have played. It has been all Guelph. A 9-3 victory back on June 1st. A 10-1 victory here at home on July 5th. And then a 5-2 win last night at Bernie Arbor Stadium. And yeah, again, this is a prime time matchup here on a Saturday night as we're getting set for the national anthem. We're going to throw it a break. When we come back, we'll have some baseball for you here at David E. Hastings Stadium in Guelph. You are watching Royals TV. A packed crowd, a beautiful Saturday night here in the Royal City in Guelph. 23 degrees, I should say. Not too much wind. It's a perfect night for some baseball, and I think the fans got the memo as the Hastings faithful have really come out in droves. The left and right field sidelines are packed to the brim, and, well, it is the Guelph Royals starting the month of August with a win last night. Here on Hawaiian night here tonight, as we take a look at the umpires for tonight's game. Calling the balls and strikes is Steve Knight. Trevor Stoico is over at first base, and Mike Guthrow will be working at third and is also the crew chief. The introductions onto the field happening here now as the Guelph Royals will send Jacob Cush to the mound for the Royals here this evening. Let's take a look at the defense that will line up in behind Jacob Cush. There you see it on the screen. Ethan Hammond, J.D. Williams, Andy Leader out in the outfield. Brando LaRue getting a shift over at third base. Connor Morrow is the shortstop. Franklin Torres, Liam Wilson working at second and first base respectively. And Kaner Pena is in behind the dish to catch Jacob Cush, who has had some good outings as of late, some lengthy outings at that.
Yeah, Jacob Cush, he's had some very, very good outings his last couple times. A couple weeks back, July 12th against London, he went 7 innings, allowed 4 runs, providing a lot of length for this Guelph Royals team. And then he's really kind of put it together recently. July 22nd against Barrie in a 14-1 win for the Guelph Royals. He also went 7 innings in that outing, but did not allow a single earned run on the night. Just 3 hits, walked only 1 batter, and he struck out 7. So heading into tonight, Jacob Cush kind of coming off a really, really good start, looking to build on that confidence that he has heading into the playoffs. And it'll be interesting to see how he does against this Hamilton Cardinals lineup. Taking a look at the splits for Jacob Cush, he does a very, very good job at neutralizing the right-handed batters. They're batting just 162 against him with a 266 on-base percentage and a minuscule 174 slugging. But you flip that over to take a look at how he does against lefties, and it changed a little bit. A 311 batting average, 347 on base, and a 500 slugging against Jacob Cush from left-handed batters. That's not exactly what you want to see, especially against a Hamilton Cardinals lineup featuring 4 lefties tonight and 4 pretty solid lefties at that.
Well, and you look at Jacob Cush's last start. He had a no-hitter going into the 6th. He was perfect through 4. And he's really starting to put himself back into that pitcher of the year kind of mentality that he had about a season ago, where, he's finding the strike zone. He is just, mowing down batters left and right. The strikeouts are up there, yes, but it doesn't feel like he's really relying on the strikeouts per se.
No, I don't think he is. He's getting the soft contact that he needs when he's not able to get the strikeouts. But the other thing is that even when he's not striking batters out, he's also not walking them very much. He's got a 52 strikeout to 17 walk ratio on the season, which is absolutely elite coming from this starting pitcher. And that sort of explains the 2.45 ERA that we're seeing from him. The win-loss record sits at 3-3, which is about 500, but he's sort of ramping things up at the right time in the season. Heading into the last 3 weeks, heading into when the Royals are really searching for that home field advantage in the playoffs. He's doing the right thing at the right time for this Guelph Royals team.
He is going to take on the Hamilton Cardinals here tonight. Let's take a look at the starting 9 for the Hamilton Cardinals. Yolki Pena will lead things off for the visitors. He's working out in right field. Brandon Nickel, Tyler Duncan, Nico Kakatos in behind him, 2 through 4. Yammer Hernandez, the catcher. Josh Williams, a veteran in this league, he is the DH. Jaden Brown, Tommy Reyes-Cruz, the former London Major, is over at second. And the recently acquired Drew Lawrence, also a former London Major, is working out in left field as we're getting set for first pitch here at Hastings Stadium in Guelph. Cush deals right down Broadway for strike 1, and we're underway at 7:36 Eastern. Glad to have you aboard. Swing and a miss. Quickly, no balls, 2 strikes here on Yolki Pena.
Well, and we were talking about Cush before. What a way to set the tone early in this one. 0-2 count on the leadoff hitter.
And there's a swing and a miss. 3 pitches, 3 strikes, and Pena goes down just like that.
Yeah, what a job by Cush, starting it off with 2 fastballs, setting the tone early, really happy to throw it by Pena, and then just completely slows things down with the curveball, and Pena just absolutely very far out in front of that pitch and gets the swing and miss for a 3-pitch strikeout early in this one.
Well, here's Brandon Nickel. He hit 2 for 4 last night with a double against these Royals. He's hits in 3 of his last 4. That one misses upstairs. Guess that immaculate innings out of the question.
Yeah, we were a little early to start counting that anyways.
I think so. The 1-0. That one missing downstairs. 2 very different locations there from Cush, and Nickel not biting. Hitting .304 on the season. Nickel was part of the All-Star Showdown in the Hammer. That one's across for a strike.
Yeah, you can see Cush working with a lot of confidence off the mound. He's getting the ball back and just immediately getting back on the rubber, taking the sign from his catcher, not shaking him off so far. Exactly what you want to see early in this one.
The 2-1, that one's cranked down the line, just foul, and it's a 2-2 count. Really relying on that fastball early on. Nickel batting .304 on the season. And there's a swing and a miss. Nickel goes down. 2 strikeouts for Jacob Cush.
And I like that sequencing on that at-bat there. He gets the hard foul ball on the fastball and comes back immediately with the off speed. And it just is, Nickel is, again, early on that one, able to catch up with the fastball, but he's mixing things nicely even when this Nickel was able to get to that fastball early in the count.
Well, here is the former MVP and the home run champion, the home run derby champion, I should say, in Tyler Duncan as he fouls that one away. 0 for 3 last night, hitting .320 on the season. Cush deals. That one just missing upstairs. He was looking for that top corner.
Yeah, Duncan hitting .320 on the season, but not necessarily the most patient hitter at the plate. The strikeout to walk ratio sits at 31-11.
The 1-1, that went into the dirt.
So in a bat like this, Cush is really going to want to play to his swing and miss ability. He's going to want to induce the chase from Duncan here.
The 2-1, that one just missing at the knees. More of a 50-50 ball there, in my opinion, but it just under the strike zone there for a 3-1 count. Duncan, without a hit, he's 0 for 5 against the Royals this year as he takes a strike. The 3-2. That one's popped high, and it'll go out of play.
Duncan with 6 home runs on the season, 27 RBIs. Very solid power hitter out of this 3 spot for the Hamilton Cardinals.
Full count, the 3-2. That one just missing at the knees yet again, and Duncan gets on board. Well, you can see where that location is from Jacob Cush. He's trying to beat Duncan down low and try to generate that swing and miss, but Duncan is a confident hitter, and he just did not bite.
Yeah, well, and that's the problem. When you're facing a confident hitter, it's tough to sort of hit the black on the strike zone right away. You're kind of trying to get the chase on somebody like Tyler Duncan, and you need to set it up with competitive pitches before you throw out of the zone.
Here's Nico Kakados. That one across for a strike, just below belt level. Of course, Kakados, a great story. The 0-1, that one just missing on the outside, as Pena tried to pull that one in.
Kakados batting .329 on the season, 12 walks, 14 strikeouts, and 10 RBIs.
Throw over to first. That one's going to get out of play, and Duncan is going to be awarded a base. And that's the one thing here at Hastings Stadium, and I know I'm preaching to the choir, if you will, when you think about that throw over from Jacob Cush, who is really familiar with the dimensions here at Hastings Stadium. You miss that pickoff attempt, it goes out of play. Doesn't matter. Duncan's going to get over anyway. The 1-1 across for a strike.
Well, and that can be both a blessing and a curse because, you lose the opportunity to throw the batter out heading to second, but you also know he's not getting to third on the pickoff play there.
That's fair. 1 ball, 2 strikes here on Kakatos. The OUA's most valuable hitter in 2021. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 3 strikes, 3 strikeouts for Jacob Cush. And despite Tyler Duncan reaching on a walk and moving over into scoring position, it is Jacob Cush getting out of a jam.
Yeah, well, we didn't get the immaculate inning that you so clearly wanted, but, Jacob Cush, even despite giving up the walk, throwing competitive pitches the entire inning, getting ahead of the first 2 hitters, gets down 3-1 against Tyler Duncan, allows the walk, which truly to a hitter like Duncan is not the worst thing in the world. It's able to come back against Kakatos quickly and get ahead in the count 1-2 and gets a swing and miss there on the fastball that he just could not catch up to.
Well, let's take a look at the lineup coming up to bat for the Guelph Royals tonight. There you see it, Franklin Torres, Connor Morrow, Kaner Pena, 1 through 3. Liam Wilson, Garrett Takamatsu still on DH duty. J.D. Williams comes in as the center fielder. Brando LaRue, Ethan Hammond, Andy Leader. And they have a whole lot of bodies to work with on the bench as well as this game moves along here tonight.
Yeah, well, my player to watch on the night for the Guelph Royals is going to be none other than Liam Wilson. Wilson this season has been, in his career, has been a Cardinal killer. In 24 games against them, he has a .727 on-base percentage. He's slugging .667 for an OPS of 1.394. So elite stuff for him against this Cardinals team, and just in general as of late, his last 5 games, of course, the Guelph Royals as a team have been very good, but Wilson has been a big reason for that, batting .444 in 18 at-bats, has a homer, 7 RBIs, and 6 runs scored. So I expect him to put up a big commanding performance against this Hamilton Cardinals team tonight.
So Enrique Soldana will get the start, and already someone sending us the pronunciation guide a little bit late, as it is Jomer Hernandez in behind the plate. Funny how they'll tell you one thing in one game and then completely switch it up the next. You know what? Call me Pear, call me Perry, call me Smith. I don't care. Just don't call me late to dinner. As here is Franklin Torres. That one right in for a strike. We'll look at the defense in just a moment here for those Cardinals.
Soldana on the bump for the Cardinals. Hasn't put up the numbers that you'd like to see just yet this season. No, it's just a 6.16 ERA in 30 innings pitched. 17 walks, 25 strikeouts. So a good opportunity for this Royals offense to keep the heat going.
The 0-1 is going to be sent out of play. Torres has been on a torrid pace to start the season, to say the very least, since coming over from Venezuela.
Yeah, Torres batting .692 in his last 10 games.
Chopper, that one's going to get right on over to Brown, throw over to first in time to get the out. Torres retired on the 5-3. Let's take a look at that defense for the Hamilton Cardinals this evening. Drew Lawrence, Tyler Duncan, and Yolki Pena working from left to right in the outfield. Jaden Brown, Brandon Nickel, Tommy Reyes-Cruz, and Nico Kakatos is the infield, and Jomer Hernandez is in behind the plate, catching Enrique Soldana. Yeah, first time I actually got to see Jomer was actually the Owen Boone no-hitter. It was in his debut, and I asked them what the pronunciation was. They said Yomer, as that one's going to miss. And now they're telling me Jomer. It's almost that Marchand kind of situation. They can't figure out how they want to pronounce their names. Anyway, I'm off my soapbox here as Connor Morrow is in the box with an 0-1 with a 1-0 count.
Morrow batting .237 on the season. 10 games played, 38 at-bats, 10 strikeouts, just 3 walks.
The 2-0. That one's put high. It'll go down the line. It's going to go foul as about a dozen youngsters here in Guelph go chasing after it. Morrow hitting just .237 on the year, but still a big part of this lineup for the Guelph Royals. 2 balls, 1 strike. That one's put in play. It's popped up in the infield. Calling everyone off, and Nickel drops it. Nobody is on first, so Morrow is going to stay safe, as that's going to be an error charged to the shortstop.
And you'll never complain about getting on base, even for an error. That's exactly what the kind of thing that you can't have happen if you're the Hamilton Cardinals. You now have a runner on first with only 1 out when you could have had 2 outs and the bases empty. And the number 3 hitter stepping to the plate for the Guelph Royals.
So here is the red-hot Kaner Pena. Has taken over as the everyday catcher for the Royals. First pitch he sees, laces that one high. It's a blooper into shallow right, and Tommy Reyes-Cruz makes the catch. And that'll bring up Liam Wilson, the first baseman.
Like I mentioned, Wilson, my player to watch on the night, has just been absolutely elite against the Hamilton Cardinals, and in his last 5 games, batting .444. Just a very, very commanding presence at the plate, and clearly has something on this Hamilton Cardinals pitching staff. Maybe he likes hitting in Hamilton, but it'll be interesting to see how he does tonight.
Taking the lead there is Morrow. It gets away from Kakados, but not far enough to allow Morrow to advance.
Morrow with a relatively conservative lead over at first. Doesn't really not necessarily want to take the attention away from the hitter.
The pitch. Upstairs, inside. And Liam has really elevated his game, particularly in the month of July. And, it's really shown in his batting average. Now sitting at a .317 clip. Swing and a miss. Throw into first and not in time.
Yeah, well, and that batting average being raised has come in tandem with a little bit more power coming out of Wilson's bat. 2 home runs in his last 30 at-bats, 9 RBIs, 11 hits. So not only is he hitting the ball often, but when he's hitting the ball, he's hitting it really hard, which is a dangerous combo for the Hamilton Cardinals.
Chopper off the glove of Brown. No throw to first, and Liam Wilson's going to get on board with 2 away. Just a hop, skip, and a jump, and too hot to handle there for Jaden Brown.
Well, and this is the kind of thing that really great baseball teams will capitalize on. 2 errors in the inning. Now they have a runner. Now they have runners on first and second with the big man himself, Garrett Takamatsu, coming to the plate. So you need a big hit here. You need to set the tone early here with Takamatsu up to bat.
Well, and they're going to charge an error. They're actually going to give Liam Wilson the single on that one. That's what I thought it was going to be. So here's Garrett Takamatsu, the DH. That one's well inside for ball one. Tak, as mentioned, hitting .330 on the year. Has hits in 5 of 6, including the All-Star Showdown, where he was 1 for 3 for Team South. Check on over to second. The 1-0 well inside as Tak is able to get out of the way.
Takamatsu also leading the Guelph Royals in home runs with 6. And, you know, Hastings not the easiest park to hit the ball out of with those deep corners in left and right center. So the man you want up in a situation like this early on in this ball game.
Soldana gets reset to deliver the 2-0. Inside yet again, and that's actually going to hit Takamatsu. It just clipped him, but just enough to allow him to take a base.
Yeah, not really any reaction there from Takamatsu. I think it just clipped the jersey on the inside there. So that will load the bases now here in the first.
And this will bring up J.D. Williams, hitting .269 on the season. Went 0 for 4 last night, but has been kind of in and out of the lineup, as he was out for about a couple of weeks before last night's return. Previous to August 1st, his last game was right before the All-Star break on the 19th of July.
Well, and that's what's so great about this Royals team right now. Even without having Williams in the lineup, they've had the depth around him to be able to compensate for that in this stretch that they're on right now. But having him back alongside the new additions at a home game could be a recipe for some fireworks.
So after the mound visit to Soldana, here's the bases loaded for J.D. Swing and a miss for strike one.
Yeah, Soldana just pumping that fastball right past Williams, setting the tone early in this at-bat. Gets the swing and the miss for strike one.
Royals hitting .342 with the bases loaded this season. The 0-1. Swing, and he got a piece of it there yet again. You can tell that he's really trying to hit that moonshot and try to get some power underneath the bat on those last 2 swings.
Yeah, well, and that's not necessarily the approach that I think you should take in a situation like this. You want to just stay calm in your approach. Home runs often happen by accident. When you go up there swinging for the fences, you end up losing your approach, losing your balance. When in this situation, you just need to try and poke it the other way.
The 0-2 is going to go into the trees, out of play. So we'll start again here with an 0-2 count.
Williams in 3 at-bats with the bases loaded, batting .333 with 5 RBIs. So someone who clearly lives for the big moments.
Hernandez gets set on the outside. That one is also going to be poked out of play. Just wasting pitches left and right.
Yeah, good job by Williams there. Goes down 0-2, fouls off 2 tough pitches in a row, and keeps himself alive in this at-bat. He's putting himself into a situation where Solano is going to have to come into the strike zone.
Fans starting to get loud here at Hastings. Bases loaded, 2 away. Here comes the 0-2. That one is going to be put off into Kikatos, and he'll tag the bag to get the force out. And that'll do it. The Royals leave the bases juiced here in the first, and we have no score here at Hastings Stadium between the Royals and the Cardinals. You are watching Royals TV. Welcome back to Royals TV. Mark Perry and Noam Stryfer here as we take a look at some of the new guys that are making quick work of those playoff qualifications. So keep in mind, you need 24 plate appearances as an offensive player, 5 appearances and 10 innings of work as a pitcher. And, I mean, you take a look at Frias, Case, and Custodio, already with a couple of appearances each for Frias and Custodio, 6 innings each. Andrew Case getting in last night. Franklin Torres and Kaner Pena also getting into quite a few at-bats and making an impact as well.
Yeah, well, those are some very key players in this Royals lineup right now during this most recent hot streak. So it's clear that they're going to keep getting playing time heading into the playoffs. There's nothing that's going to stop them. So it's sort of now about resource management for the Guelph Royals and how they're going to utilize each player. And
you saw there Damon Topley as well. He got a couple of plate appearances in that weekend with the Toronto Maple Leafs before signing with the Royals. Should mention that Nick Burdett has about 38 plate appearances in his time with the Brantford Red Sox this year. So if he is needed, he has already qualified for the postseason. Although I think those two guys are just more of, as we'll get back to that in just a second, as that one's popped up into shallow center, and Connor Morrow is going to make the grab to take away any hope of Jomar Hernandez from getting on base. But again, you bring in a guy like Damon Topley and Nick Burdett, you're bringing them in more for their minds and their voices and their experience than actually counting on them for these meaningful at-bats. It's not to say we might not see them for meaningful at-bats, but qualifying them for the postseason obviously gives the Royals a couple of extra options to work with as well. As Josh Williams cranks that one. No doubter. Dead center Josh Williams. Make it 1-0 Hamilton. That one's in the other ballpark, ladies and gentlemen, as Josh Williams gets a hold of that one.
Yeah, wow, what a swing there by Josh Williams. Cush just trying to settle in for the second inning, gets the first out on Hernandez, but then Williams just comes, he tries to pump a fastball by him early in the strike, and Williams is just ready for it. He just takes it, hits it to, honestly, one of the best parts of the yard to hit here at Hastings with the 369 distance in center, but that was getting out any part of the field here.
Yeah, so there is that black fence that is up as well. That's more for protection for some of the youngsters playing in the other field. I know Toronto put up that fence, the Solazzo fence in right field, as there's a swing and a miss from Jaden Brown. That black fence in center field is kind of the same thing, although if you do hit that fence, it's a home run anyway because it goes above that yellow line. Josh Williams cleared that black fence, as that one's put into left field, and Jaden Brown gets on with a base hit.
Yeah, well, things unraveling here a little bit for Cush, not necessarily getting ahead of the hitters the way he wants to. They're catching up to the fastball that was so effective for him here early in the first inning. It's going to be interesting to see how he responds against Tommy's Reyes Cruz.
So the former London Major will step in here. As he takes a moment, hitting .247 on the season. First pitch upstairs, ball one.
Cush missing arm side with that one there. Not necessarily super keen to come into the zone here early against Cruz after the big home run and then a laced single.
The 1-0. Right across Broadway, right at belt level for strike one. As Brown will take his lead. Throw over to first, and not in time. As you see, Brown not really taking a big lead per se, but enough to really direct Cush's attention that way. There he goes as that one's launched down into right field. It's got some distance. It's going back, and it is going to be caught right in fair territory by Andy Leader.
Yeah, good job there by Leader to stick with that ball. It was sort of knuckling a little bit towards the right field foul line, and he kind of stays with it, makes that little banana turn that Little League coaches tell you about. Just a textbook fly ball catch there.
That really hung up there. I think it lost some gravity for a moment. That's how high Reyes Cruz put that one up.
Yeah, he happened to hit the ball very, very hard, but just hit it directly into the air, so it didn't have the carry to get over the fence.
Here's Drew Lawrence. So he takes one for strike one. Here comes the 0-1. That one's going to skip ahead and in behind Pena. Call that a wild pitch, charge to Cush. And Jaden Brown is in scoring position.
Yeah, clearly Cush just held onto the curveball a little bit too long there. Just didn't get the release that he wanted, spikes it into the dirt. Now all of a sudden, Hamilton Cardinals have a runner at second base. Already one run in the inning as well.
Lawrence into his second game as a member of the Hamilton Cardinals, was on the inactive list for London all throughout the regular season before the transaction deadline. And then ended up actually getting released. So now he's one to keep an eye on if you're a Cardinals fan to try to qualify for the postseason. Facing a 2-1 count. That one inside, 3-1.
Yeah, well, with the release earlier in the season and now kind of coming back in the last stretch, it's going to be Cardinals clearly trying to figure out who's going to fit onto that playoff roster, who fits into their plan for that. And Lawrence has the chance to make himself vital to this team.
The 3-1 right in for a strike at the knees. Well, again, as mentioned before, you need 24 plate appearances in order to qualify for the postseason. As the fans get loud here at Hastings. 3-2 count with 2 away. And in for strike 3. Lawrence cannot believe it. As he goes down looking, he's having a word there with Steve Knight, who punched him out. And the Royals get out of it, but not before Josh Williams hit a moonshot into dead center field here at Hastings Stadium. And the Hamilton Cardinals have a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, that last pitch there against Lawrence just barely nicked the lower outside corner, and you could see clearly he was not thrilled about the call. They're probably asking the umpire where he had that one in the strike zone to end the inning. But Jacob Cush may or may not have caught a break on that pitch there, and is able to limit the damage to just 1 run.
Well, and this is a little bit different to what we saw last night. Obviously, Guelph getting the early jump on the Cardinals. Now it's going to be up to them to try to respond here with Enrique Soldana on the mound. As we saw on that 5-game stretch, you saw the graphic earlier on tonight at the top of the broadcast of around 10 runs per game on this 5-game stretch, albeit that game against Kitchener really kind of ballooned that altogether. But this is a team that, especially lately, has shown that they can score some runs. So we'll see if they can continue on that stretch here in this second inning against the Cardinals.
Yeah, well, and I do believe that they'll be able to do so. Got the bases loaded in the first inning, made Saldana work a little bit, I should say. But I think they just are going to need that big hit. They're going to need to keep the line moving, ideally get some things going before they have 2 outs in the inning. And here with the bottom third of the order, coming up to bat, this is a great chance for them to set the table for the big boys at the top of the lineup.
And Soldana, his last start, you touched on it, an 8-6 loss against Barrie on the 25th, where he gave up 5 runs, gave up 6 hits as well. But overall, a guy that in his previous 3 only gave up the 1 run, 2 runs against London on the 6th, as that one set high and deep, but it's going to stay in the ballpark. Lawrence getting underneath it. He'll make the grab to retire Brando LaRue. So 1 pitch, 1 out. And that'll set the table up for Ethan Hammond. The left fielder. Usually you see him out in right, kind of balancing work with Andy Leader, especially when J.D. Williams was out of the lineup, you saw Leader go into center and you saw Hammond go into right. Usually you see Ashton Patterson out in left field, but he is on the bench here tonight in favor of Hammond, batting .233 on the season.
And that's the nice thing about this, is that you kind of have the positional versatility to do things like that.
That'll go in for a strike.
Circling back to Soldana, I think the Cardinals, even if he gives up some runs, are going to give him a lot of length tonight. They're in the midst of a 3-3.
Grab there by Soldana. A hot shot right back to the pitcher, and that's 2 away.
Soldana had just 22 pitches through an inning in 2/3, hoping for some length for this Cardinals team, who's in the midst of a 3-3 right now. So if this Royals team can get to him early, they're going to need, and get and knock him out early, they're going to need to have good at-bats. They need to have those 8-9 pitch at-bats that we know that they can do.
So here's Andy Later. That one pulled up into the strike zone for strike 1. Yeah, we saw quite a few pitchers last night for the Cardinals as well, so a few arms unavailable to them. Squibbed over to Tommy Reyes Cruz. A quick 1-2-3 inning for Enrique Soldana, and the Hamilton Cardinals have a 1-0 lead through 2 here at Hastings Stadium in Guelph. We'll be back after this. Don't go anywhere. This is Royals TV. All right, let's do it. Welcome back to Royals TV. Mark Perry, Noam Stryfer here in the booth here at Hastings Stadium. And back to the top of the order we go here for the Hamilton Cardinals. It'll be Yolki Pena, followed by Brandon Nickel and Tyler Duncan.
Pena struck out in the first as part of a 3-up, 3-down inning for Jacob Cush.
That one goes for ball 1.
And Cush, great first inning, struggled a little bit in the second, giving up the home run, but was able to limit the damage with a strikeout at the end.
Upstairs, trying to hit the strike zone there. Pena chases that one and puts that one out of play.
Fouled off the pavilion here at Hastings.
Yeah, into his first season here in the IBL. Former farmhand with the Colorado Rockies organization. The 2-1, that's in for a strike. Evens the count at 2-2 as he just paints the edge on the inside. Upstairs. Full count here on Pena. despite being from the Dominican Republic, also qualifies as a non-import. That one goes inside, and Pena gets on base.
Yeah, Pena, fairly formidable hitter. Spent, as you mentioned, spent some time in the Rockies organization. Had a 906 OPS in 2018 at rookie ball.
It's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. Well, here's Brandon Nickel. BC native. Turned 24 just about a month ago, as that one paints the outside edge for a strike.
And Nickel spent some time with South Arkansas in the NCAA Division II level, playing 4 years there for his whole undergraduate degree.
Throw over to first, not in time.
Yeah, didn't get the call there, but Cush with a good, quick first step over to first. Something that these Hamilton runners are going to need to be aware of.
Pena is about 50%. Throw over to first, and not in time yet again, as Pena tries to pick off Pena, and Pena gets in time.
A little bit of a tongue twister there, eh?
A little bit. Say it 5 times fast, and I'll pay ya. Pena is actually 2 for 6. My apologies. 2 for 6 on stolen bases this year, as Pena keeps that one in front of him.
Yeah, well, and it's something that Cush is going to have to be really conscious of, and you can see that Pena is clearly dancing around a little bit at first, trying to keep Cush's mind off the hitter and onto him so that maybe he makes a little bit of a mistake pitch.
1 ball, 2 strikes here on Nickel. The throw, swing and a miss. 5 strikeouts for Jacob Cush. So Cush, you really like that approach, just blow it by you. Nothing really crazy about it. It's just heat, and he missed it.
Yeah, well, and Cush, his fastball is very, very good, very formidable. Throws it super hard, but he's at his best when he's mixing his pitches nicely.
That one misses on the outside. Tyler Duncan, who has a walk in this game. He walked and was stranded back in the first inning. And they're really keeping an eye on Pena over at first base. That's about the 4th or 5th pickoff attempt by my count.
Oh, and Pena's making them do it. He's taking a pretty generous lead over at first.
That paints the inside edge for a strike.
Good comeback pitch there from Cush after he misses arm side with the off-speed first in the at-bat. Comes inside with the fastball. Just puts it over the inner edge of the plate there.
That one is going to hit Duncan, and Duncan's going to take a base. Still without an official at-bat, Tyler Duncan. And there's runners on first and second with 1 out.
Yeah, just a little bit of an overcorrection there from Cush on the off-speed. Starts it off with the off-speed, misses with it, arm side, then comes in with the fastball, throws a dot, and then kind of over-adjusts with the curveball there, gets him inside, and hits the batter. Now he's got to work himself out of yet another jam.
So here's Nico Kakados, who struck out his last time up. That one just missing. Didn't miss by much, though. Kakados is .329 average, leading the team. It's been a big bat in this lineup all season. The 1-0 holds off on the swing and just missing downstairs, 2-0.
Yeah, and that's where baseball philosophy has changed a little bit recently. You have Kakados batting fourth, not necessarily the biggest power hitter, but somebody who hits for a lot of average. And he either in the first inning will be up there to drive in runners who get on base, or he sets the table for the second inning.
The 2-0 missing downstairs yet again.
That's sort of a little bit of a shift in philosophy from the traditional cleanup hitter, who was just someone who would hit bombs all the time. It's a little bit more of a like philosophical approach, I guess.
Well, the OPS around 790, the slugging around 378. His on base is 412. The 3-0 in for a strike.
Yeah, the definition of somebody who just keeps the line moving.
Very much so. 12 walks. Guy that doesn't really get hit by a pitch all that often either. Doesn't wear it all that much. The 3-1 missing on the outside, and that's ball 4. And Jacob Cush, you can tell just by his physical expression there, just did not like that last call.
And when you had Pena behind the plate setting up a little bit inside, so that one kind of gets right there on the outer edge. Misses just over the edge of the plate, but Pena wasn't really reaching out for it a little bit, wasn't able to bring it back in and get the frame job that you might want in a situation like that.
Now here's Jomar Hernandez 0 for 1, and now with the bases loaded, the Cardinals can really do some damage with one swing of the bat here. And still just the 1 out. As Cush is going to call for time here.
Cush really wanting to be methodical about what he's going to throw here to Hernandez, because as we all know, Josh Williams, who had the home run last time out, looming on deck with the bases loaded.
You want to get an out here. Big time. That one missing outside.
And Cush still just kind of pulling the off speed a little bit. It's resulted in a hit by pitch. Now he's missing outside to the right-handed hitters.
The 1-0 popped up, possibly playable. It's going to drift out of play just barely on the other side of the fence. The Cardinals hitting .280 with the bases loaded this year. Puts that one in play. Into right center, and Leader comes over to make the grab. Throw back into the infield, and grab there by Pena. But not in time as Yoki Pena comes in to score to make it 2-0.
Yeah, tough break there for the Royals. Got a relatively shallow fly ball, but Leader's throw just slightly offline and up the line, allowing the runner to come in behind the catcher. If that throw had been on line, even on a hop to the plate, the catcher wouldn't have had to move, and he likely would have gotten the out.
Well, they only score 1 run. That's the good news for the Guelph Royals. The bad news is you still have runners on first and second, and it is Josh Williams with that big bat coming up here. So 2 away here in the third. Cush deals inside, 2-0. Probably going to see a bunch of inside pitches here to just try to take it away from Williams' power.
Yeah, Williams just such a big, commanding presence at the plate.
Swing and a miss, and almost lost the bat out of his hand at the same time, too.
Yeah, swinging hard there, kind of lost his balance a little bit, took his head off the ball. You know, the pitch was a little bit high and outside anyways, but it's just not the recipe that you have for good contact.
The 2-1. That one right on over to Torres. Gets it on the hop. Easy does it over to first in time, and that'll do it. So the Royals get out of a jam, although they do give up 1 run on the sac fly from Jomar Hernandez. It is 2-0 for the Hamilton Cardinals as we head to the home half of the third inning. Mark Perry, Noam Strifer here in the booth with you here at Hastings Stadium in Guelph. And a little bit of a shaky inning there for Jacob Cush.
Yeah, some tough, a shaky inning, but he bent but didn't break there. Credit to Cush, he's the kind of pitcher who he might get into a jam here and there. He might have to throw a lot of pitches in an outing, but he kind of shines when the lights are the brightest. In a situation like that, that was the first run that he's allowed with the bases loaded so far this season, and batters are just hitting 246 against him with runners on. So he does allow traffic on the bases, but he controls that traffic on the bases very, very effectively when it does come.
Well, again, it's just a 2-0 scoreline, so not out of hand by any means here, as it will be the top of the order due up for the Guelph Royals, and some big bats that the Royals have really counted upon, particularly in the last 5 games. I mean, you alluded to it in the pregame. I mean, guys like Franklin Torres and Kaner Pena really getting it done here. This is the time to start getting it done here in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. You're only down 2. It's the 3rd inning. Cush has struggled a little bit, but has, again, like I said, bent but not broken. He's stayed calm within himself. He's gotten the outs that he needed. It's kind of now time for the offense to pick him up here, and they've got the guys coming up who can do it. Top of the order, Torres, Morrow, and Pena, and they're pretty good.
Yeah, they're not too bad. Connor Morrow sandwiched in between Torres and Pena due up here for the Guelph Royals. So here is Franklin Torres, who, in my opinion, really earned himself Player of the Week honors in the IBL, but just didn't get it despite the 9 hits that he had coming into this weekend. He was 0 for 3 last night. Not a guy that stays cold for long. Chopper there. That one gets by Reyes Cruz, and just like that, Franklin Torres gets on the base path. A base hit to lead things off here in the 3rd.
And that's a sign, a hit like that is a sign of really, really good bat control from someone like Torres. We saw that the defense had lined up. He sort of played the second baseman a little bit further off the bag than usual, and he saw the hole there and was able to, on the first pitch of the at-bat, didn't hit it very hard, but hit it exactly where he needed to get the base hit. That's exactly what you want from your leadoff hitter now.
So here is Connor Morrow, who reached on an error back in the 1st inning. Made it all the way to 3rd, but was one of those 3 runners on base when they were stranded. Soldana deals upstairs, just missing the plate.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a low strike zone tonight, consistently a low strike zone, but clearly the umpire is preferring those balls lower in the zone. So that's something that Soldana's going to have to adjust to here.
Former 3-time IBL champ Morrow drops a bunt down, perfectly executed over to 1st, and that one gets out of play. Morrow will advance to 3rd, or rather to 2nd. Torres over to 3rd. What a bunt dropped down. And I made it in the way of, it was a deceptive bunt where you didn't expect it to be dropped down with as much fervor as it was down the 3rd base line, and I think it really caught Brown flat-footed there.
Yeah, I mean, Brown was playing a little bit further back than you'd expect there. Now you can see he's positioning himself a little closer after that bunt. Wasn't able to get to the ball in time, rushed the play, rushed the throw, and now Royals all of a sudden with no outs in the inning and the number 3 hitter at the plate have 2 runners in scoring position.
For a hot bat and Kaner Pena, no less, as Hernandez goes out to have a word with Soldana.
And 10 at-bats so far this season. Pena's batting .400 with 2 homers already, so elite home run to at-bat ratio. And kind of exactly the guy you want up here with no outs.
Flared one to the 2nd baseman back in the 1st. But here in a big moment as he takes one in for strike 1, just painting the inside edge. As Soldana just, again, taking away the power. As he'll start again, a healthy lead by Morrow. Nobody even thinking about over at 2nd base. That one just missing on the outside.
Defense playing virtually straight up. You have the right fielder playing slightly in for Pena.
Could tie this game with a deep shot into right or left field. A lot of gaps to work with here for Kaner. See if he can execute. The 1-1. Chopper. Grabbed there by Nickel. Throw over to first in time. So they'll retire Pena, but coming in to score is Franklin Torres, and the Royals are on the board.
Yeah, nice job there by Torres. Watches the play there by Nickel. Is able to come in to score. Nickel doesn't even really glance at him coming home there. So, like, potentially could have had the opportunity to throw him out. He wasn't exactly running super hard, but some heads-up baseball there to come in to score on the ground out, and you got to get it done how you got to get it done.
I think that's one of those classic sacrifice a run for an out kind of situations there with nobody away, and I mean, why rush the throw to home?
That's a good point.
So here's Liam Wilson. He's 1 for 1 with a single. Now just one man on base. Over on second as Hernandez traps one into the dirt. 1-0 here on Liam. Connor Morrow with a beautiful bunt just 2 batters ago. Finds himself in scoring position. Just 180 feet away from tying this game. Inside, Wilson gets out of the way, and a guy that has worn the baseball quite a bit all season long. 12 times Liam has been hit by a pitch. That leads the Intercounty Baseball League.
Well, you can see why there. Wilson really setting up right up against the plate, crowds it there, makes the pitcher a little bit more uncomfortable. And it's reflected in his hit by pitch stats, but also reflected in just his general hitting stats that pitchers don't necessarily want to throw to him.
The 2-0, and that's in for a strike, just painting the inside edge. That's a pitch that Soldana is going to really like to try to push Wilson off the plate a bit.
Yeah, Soldana just backdooring that off speed there, gets the strike call that he needs.
When we come back to start the fourth, we'll give you an out-of-town scoreboard update. The 2-1, Chopper down the line, foul.
And he comes back with the fastball, and Wilson kind of just has to chop at it, trying to make contact there. He gets the contact he needs, but now he's in a 2-strike count.
It's a very lively crowd here at Hastings Stadium. A lot of noise being made off of every pitch being heard here tonight.
Yeah, beautiful summer night. The team's playing really, really well. What else is there to do other than come out and watch some good baseball?
Exactly. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Hernandez sets up way outside. The runner's going to go throw into third base, and he got him. 2 away as Morrow gets tagged out trying to steal third.
Yeah, Morrow clearly there just trying to get a good jump on Soldana, and just leaves a little too early. Soldana having the heads-up play there to check the runner, throws it over to third simply, and now all of a sudden the Royals have run into an out, and it's 2 outs with nobody on instead of a runner in scoring position and 1 out.
Yeah, that's a big play there, and just good awareness by Soldana. So just like that, Soldana a strike away from getting out of this, as he's just going to take a moment.
I think he might have had a bug in the hat or something there. Sort of swatting at his face a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, the wasps have been out quite a bit lately. The 2-2, that one's popped up. Pena getting underneath it. He'll make the catch out in right field, and that'll do it. But the Royals get one on the board. It's 2-1 Cardinals here at Hastings Stadium in Guelph. Don't go anywhere. 4th inning up next here on Royals TV.
Heard you looking for a hero. Well, look up. Yeah, I got got the heart of a champion. If I get knocked down, I get back up. I got the heart of a champion. If I get knocked down, I get back up.
Welcome back to Royals TV. Let's take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard as the kiddos get their chance to round the bases here at Hastings Stadium in Guelph. In Welland, the Jackfish have a lead on the Barry Bay Cats, 14-1. The Jackfish with 7 runs in the 5th to lead the way for them, as they were really hitting El Fuego as a young Pikachu getting a round of applause. And he'll get a gift as well. But the Welland Jackfish, closing in on winning the pennant here in the Intercounty Baseball League, though they are just 3 games ahead of the London Majors, 4 ahead of the Barry Bay Cats. Speaking of the London Majors, they're in action at Christie Pitts in Toronto, and it is a 7-1 lead for the Maple Leafs in the top half of the 4th. The Maple Leafs with 6 runs in that 3rd inning, including an RBI double from Ryan DeSantos, who's having himself quite the year.
Yeah, well, and also Dennis DeBanning and Marcus Connect producing there. DeBanning had an absolutely incredible month of July. That's something that Royals fans are going to want to keep an eye on, with the Maple Leafs just sitting a game and a half back of the Royals in the standings here. Also kind of gunning for that home field advantage in the playoffs.
Well, speaking of home field advantage in the playoffs, the Royals and the Cardinals trying to chase down Chatham Kent. Chatham Kent tied at 3 with the Kitchener Panthers in the top of the 5th over at Fergie Jenkins Field. As there you see the standings where they sit at this point in time. The Royals just a game and a half up on Hamilton, game and a half behind Hamilton, 2 games back of the Barnstormers. So again, the Kitchener Panthers score 2. The Chatham Kent Barnstormers also score 2. Yushin Oda with a 2-run shot tied that game at 2-1, and both teams exchanging runs in the 2nd and 3rd respectively. As we welcome you back inside Hastings Stadium in Guelph with a 2-1 scoreline. The Royals trailing the Hamilton Cardinals. This is Jaden Brown as Jacob Cush taking on the bottom of the order here for the Cards. Brown hit a single back in the 2nd inning. Pitch count getting up there, though, for Jacob. The 0-2. That one's put into right center, and it's going to go all the way to the wall. Circling around first. Brown thinking second, and he will get in there standing up.
Yeah, nice job by Brown there. Takes the fastball up in the zone, just puts it towards the opposite field gap. Just textbook line drive right there. And Cush all of a sudden finds himself in yet another jam early on in the 3rd inning.
You can tell this power here from the Cardinals. I mean, you see that home run from Josh Williams. That was a power bat and a half from Jaden Brown there. So this will bring up Tommy Reyes-Cruz, who's 0 for 1.
Cruz batting .246 on the season, just 1 homer and 9 RBIs.
Drops the bunt down, grab there by Pena. He can't make the grab, and over to make the play is LaRue to keep everybody at least on base. Nobody comes in to score, thankfully for the Royals, as Brown makes it over to 3rd.
Yeah, LaRue does a nice job there picking up his catcher. He kind of just lost the ball there, bounced off his glove a couple times. And, you could see that the runner was coming around 3rd, thinking of coming in to score. Cush goes over to cover the bag, though, and saves a disaster.
Might call that one a hot potato single from Tommy Reyes-Cruz. As he gets on board, nobody away, and Drew Lawrence comes up with runners on the corners. Swing and a miss for strike 1. So they will give Reyes Cruz the single on that play. Lawrence struck out back in the second. Pena on deck, trying to drop the bunt as Lawrence pulls back. You're not really seeing that much of a lead there from Reyes Cruz over at first.
No, but Brown, as you can see there on the bunt attempt, is almost like halfway down the line there. Got a very, very aggressive secondary lead.
Well, LaRue's not really holding him on, as that one's going to go into the dirt. Lawrence squaring up to bunt yet again. Oh, with nobody out, I mean, trying to catch the Royals off guard. I'd imagine that you'll probably see LaRue get into the grass by the time the pitch is delivered. That one just missing on the outside, and the body expression tells the story there from Jacob Cush.
Yeah, Lawrence in this at-bat showed bunt a bunch of times, but has done a really good, nice job to pull things back in time and still sits just a 3-1 count. So there's a lot of options for him here.
The 3-1 inside, and the bases are loaded.
And that's the exact opposite of what you want to do with the number 9 hitter at the plate. All of a sudden, Hamilton turns things over to Pena with the bases loaded on Jacob Cush, whose pitch count is really starting to get up there after having to fight out of some jams.
Oh, here comes a mound visit. So try to figure things out. And again, a lot of arms to work with here for the Royals. They do have Brandon Deans warming up. So this might be one of those, hey, get a couple of outs, but this might be it for you, Jacob.
Yeah, Dean's warming up. Someone who can go a few innings if you need him to. Cush already up to 67 pitches so far. Had to work out of a jam in the second and the third. Finds himself here with the bases loaded, no outs. So could see things turn over to Deans fairly soon.
Well, he better get quick, because if Pena puts this one out of the ballpark or, gets a major hit, I think that might be curtains for a guy that has been solid over the last 5 starts.
Yeah, well, in Pena, a left-handed hitter, as I mentioned earlier, Cush doesn't exactly have the best splits against them.
That one's set high and deep. It's got some distance, but it's going to stay in the ballpark. Later will make the catch deep enough to allow 1 run to come in to score to make it 3-1 Hamilton on the sac fly from Yoelqui Pena.
Yeah, well, you can see Pena there kind of just didn't really run up the first base line, kind of accepted his fate, knew it was either going to be caught or get out of the yard. Absolutely tattoos that one, just happened to hit it to the deepest part of the yard. Still scores a run there, and now it's 3-1 for the Hamilton Cardinals.
And you can see down the third base line, Luis Bernardo, the field manager, giving all kinds of signs to his mates on base. Lawrence on first, Reyes Cruz on third. There's a swing and a miss from Brandon Nickel for strike 1.
Yeah, Dean has started working fairly quickly in the bullpen now, not necessarily the leisurely pace that he was at before. This could be nearing the end of the night for Jacob Cush.
The 0-1, he takes off over to second, and he tags him out. Throw back home, not in time. As the Cardinals add one onto the scoreboard, it's 3-1.
And if you're Pena there, you kind of can't be that mad about that situation. And like you mentioned earlier, it's kind of a trading out for a run type of thing. The Royals have been on an offensive heater lately, so that 1 run isn't going to change the landscape of the game that much. But 2 outs with the heart of the order at the plate changes things quite a bit compared to 1 out in a runner in scoring position.
My apologies. It is now 4-1. That one misses on the outside. One ball, 1 strike here against Nickel. Pops it up. It's going to stay in the infield. Franklin Torres gets underneath it. He'll make the catch. But the Royals have a little bit more work to do as the Cardinals put 2 more on the board to make it a 4-1 scoreline. And again, another shaky inning there from Jacob Cush finds a way to get out of it without too much damage being done. But in a game like this, 2 runs almost feels like it's, almost double or triple that with the way this game has been going.
Yeah, well, I mean, Soldana has just been dealing on the mound thus far against the Guelph Royals. And Jacob Cush, 2 runs there isn't that bad of a result. He had the bases loaded, no outs. He's able to work out of the jam. They get the throw out on the runners stealing, and all in all, able to limit the damage. Not like what I was saying with Cush earlier. Even when he gets into those tough situations, he's able to limit things. He's able to, just 1 run in the second and third, 2 runs in the fourth. Has battled in this ball game. Has allowed runners, but hasn't allowed as many of them to come around to score as you might think when you're looking at the stat line here.
Well, back to Enrique Soldana, who, you said it, partner, he is dealing here tonight, has just given up the 1 hit. That was a single to Wilson. Or rather, he's given up 3 hits, I should say. He gave up a bunt single and a single back in the third. So, the Royals starting to get to him a little bit, but a guy that recognizes a little bit of adversity and finds his way to really overcome it.
Yeah, well, in Soldana, he's had that adversity, been able to overcome it, like similarly to the way that Jacob Cush has, and also that 1 run that he's surrendered on the night was unearned. So he's pitched well, and the Hamilton defense behind him hasn't necessarily picked him up at every conceivable opportunity. So I think the stat line for Soldana is a little misleading compared with how well he's pitched so far tonight. He's getting the soft contact, he's getting the swings and misses when he needs to.
So here is Garrett Takamatsu, who was hit by a pitch back in the first. The Royals down by 3 here at Hastings Stadium in Guelph. Glad to have you aboard here on Royals TV. That'll go across for strike 1.
Takamatsu walked in the first inning, his second at bat here against Soldana.
0-1, popped up. It's going to stay in the infield. Nickel gets underneath it. He's got a beat on it. Over to him, just on the other side of the second base side, and that's 1 out.
Yeah, Soldana quickly retiring Takamatsu on just 2 pitches to get the number 5 hitter. Now we'll deal with J.D. Williams.
Well, and you said it at the top there, Noam, where you do need some length out of Enrique Soldana, and barring the unforeseen, the pace that he's on here, you could probably see him go 7 or 8 as that one goes across for strike 1.
Yeah, just 38 pitches through 4 1/3, or sorry, 3 1/3, I should say. Has had to battle at a couple points, but doing some good stuff here.
Bit of an excuse me swing there from JD for a strike, as he realized it immediately as he was going around that he wasn't making contact.
Yeah, Williams on that pitch, you could just tell that he had kind of decided, I'm swinging. As soon as the pitcher had come set, didn't really look to see where it was, and regretted that decision as soon as he did.
Swing, he got a piece of it, and that's strike 3. Foul tip into the glove, and there's 2 away.
Soldana working very, very efficiently here in the 4th inning. Gets Takamatsu on 2 pitches, then Williams on 3. Now we'll face Brando LaRue, who flied out in the 2nd.
Should note that that's only the first strikeout of the game for Soldana as he Ks JD.
Yeah, yet another reason why his pitch count is so low.
That one's going to get through the gap down the middle for Brando. 2-out base hit.
Yeah, even there, LaRue able to place the ball nicely, but not very hard contact. Kind of just chops it over the head of Soldana. He's able to make something out of nothing on that pitch, though. And now the Royals have a runner on base with 2 outs. And Hammond coming to the plate.
Yeah, Hammond 0 for 1. But the Royals, they had that cooking in the first, but Well, ever since then, Soldana has really settled down, just giving up the hit here now. We'll see if the Royals can try to do some damage here in the fourth. Soldana deals. Downstairs, 1-0. Cardinals scoring 2 runs in the top half of the inning. They've got a run in each of the previous 2 innings as well. And that one's fouled back into the screen.
Hammond fouling that ball basically straight back. And, you know, when that happens, you clearly have timed up the pitcher fairly well. Just missed it. Got the bat underneath the ball a little bit there. But he's seeing what Soldana's throwing pretty well.
Maybe a little off speed here if you're Soldana. Looking actually toward the dugout. Now he sets up for the 1-1. That's in for a strike. Nothing off speed about that one. That was just pure heat inside.
Yeah, just completely froze Hammond. I think, like you said it right, Hammond was sitting on the off speed there, comes back with the heat and just has no reaction to it.
So a strike away. And it's that lefty-righty matchup that you talked about, Noam. That one's put high and down the left field line. Over is Drew Lawrence, and he gets the catch just on the other side of the foul line, and that'll do it. The Royals go down here in the fourth inning here at Hastings Stadium. It's a 4-1 lead. The Hamilton Cardinals with the lead here on Royals TV. Welcome back to Royals TV. Mark Perry, Noam Streifer here in the booth with you on a beautiful Saturday night here in Guelph. A lot of people out and about here at Hastings Stadium taking in what has been a low-scoring ball game by IBL standards. The Hamilton Cardinals with a 4-1 lead on the Guelph Royals as Jacob Cush has had a couple of rough outings, his last 2 innings in particular. Up to 71 pitches. As he will take on Tyler Duncan, Nico Kakados, and Jomar Hernandez.
And Dean's out for his 5th inning of work. Or sorry, not Dean's, Cush. Dean's is still thrown out in the bullpen.
Duncan fouls that one away. Has a chance, and that one's going to land out of play as LaRue really had a beat on it.
Yeah, Cush has kind of labored his way through the first 4 innings of this ball game. Has had to throw a lot of pitches, but limited the damage in a really decent way. And now you're kind of at the point where you just want a little bit more length out of him. Royals in a 3-3 this weekend, so hoping to get some length from him.
The 0-2 to Duncan. Chopper. Morrow gets to it on the hop over to first. In time, he gets down Tyler Duncan, and there's one away. Good job there by Morrow to really get over and patient enough to get that baseball. It was coming to him pretty slowly.
And my mistake earlier. Royals not in a 3-3. It's a 2-2, but they do play again on Tuesday here at Hastings against Chatham-Kent.
Yeah, it's a quick turnaround, to say the least, although it is, as you mentioned, hey, you got a couple of nights off before you have to take on the Barnstormers. Another pivotal matchup in that 4-5-6 standings watch conversation as that one goes upstairs. Kakados 0 for 1 with a walk. The 2-0, right on the edge for a strike.
A nice frame job there by Pena. He sets up outside. He's able to bring that pitch back in a little bit, fool the umpire. Might have missed off the black, but doesn't matter now.
The 2-1, missing outside, 3-1. Kush working the outside the last couple of pitches. The thing just got away from him on that last pitch. The 3-1, right down Broadway for a strike, and Kakados thought he had the walk, but he's going to have to stay in there.
Yeah, and that was kind of what that's showcasing what I was alluding to a little bit earlier about the lower strike zone. I think this umpire is just calling things a little lower than the standard.
The 3-2, that one's sent into center field, and it's going to drop in front of Williams. A base hit here for Kakados.
A nice little bloop single there for Kakados. That's why baseball is so cruel sometimes. Didn't hit it very hard, kind of got it in on the hands there, but gets it to drop between J.D. Williams and the infield for a one-out single.
On J.D. playing deep, just recognizing the power from some of these bats. Now it's that no double defense, if you will. So here's Jomer Hernandez. Last time up, he hit a sac fly. That'll go in for strike one. The 0-1. That one is knocked over to LaRue. He can't make the play as it goes into left field. And it's another base hit as Hernandez gets to first base.
Already at the fourth time through the order here for the Cardinals. Or sorry, my mistake, the third time through the order. But that's when the hitters start to kind of have the advantage on the pitcher. They've seen him twice now. And Kush is going to need to be the one to make adjustments here because the hitters have sort of had the chance to gain knowledge on his stuff.
Well, here is Josh Williams, that big power bat who hit one to dead center and out of here. Back in the second. First pitch he sees, gets that one into left center. Circling around third is Kakados. He gets the wave. Throw into third, not in time, and one run comes in to score to make it 5-1.
Yeah, that just kind of showcases the diversity in Josh Williams' hitting ability. You know, in that first at-bat, he just hit an absolute tank, pulled it a little bit, but towards the right center fence. But then they're able to sit back a little bit on the off-speed, take it the other way, hit the ball where it's pitched. And situational awareness there brings in a run to score.
I think this might be it. There's the wave. Yeah, new pitcher will come into the ball game. That's going to be it for Jacob Kush in this one. He only goes 4 1/3 in this one. One of his shortest outings of the season. As they have an extended conversation before Kush gives the ball. But we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, looks like it's Brandon Deans coming into the ball game for the Guelph Royals as Jacob Kush comes out. Welcome back to Royals TV. Brandon Dean's coming into the ballgame for the Guelph Royals. They are down by 4 here to the Hamilton Cardinals, and Jaden Brown will step into the batter's box, but know a little bit more here on Brandon Dean's.
Yeah, Dean's on the season. Stats aren't great, just 6.2 ERA in 29 innings pitched. But last time out against Brantford, it almost seemed like he hit a little bit of a breakthrough. Through 7 innings of 1-run ball, allowed just 2 hits, only 3 walks, and struck out 11 against Brantford. So really good stuff from him heading into this start.
Deans gets one way inside, and it hits Brown, and that'll load the bases.
And the key for Deans is going to be his control. We know the stuff from him is absolutely elite. Power, fastball, mixes it very, very well with the curveball and the slider. But the issue for him his whole career has been if he's able to control it. And you can see right there, gets up the hit by pitch, and now all of a sudden the bases are loaded for the Hamilton Cardinals.
And it's Tommy Reyes Cruz coming up here, just the one out. A deep fly ball can add another run at least on a sac fly. But he'd like to do a little bit more damage. Won't be able to do it there with strike 1, just above the knees. Well, his last time out, Dean's doing enough to earn IBL Pitcher of the Week honors, so we know he's got the stuff when he's on. That one just missing. Similar location, though. Tommy 1 for 2 with a single. Swing and a miss, strike 2. As Deans comes in with the heat, low in the zone.
Cruz in 81 at-bats this season has 16 strikeouts, 11 walks, and he's batting .253 on the season. So Deans is going to want to sort of pitch, is going to want to use the pitcher's count that he's in right now and see if he can do a chase from Cruz.
The 1-2 missing inside, not by much though. Well, it's interesting too, Jaden Brown, who has gotten on base all 3 at-bats, he leads the team with 38 strikeouts. Brody Black of Brantford and Ryan DeSantos of Toronto, as well as Yosuke Fuji of Kitchener, all 3 of them have struck out 46 times this year, leading the league as that one gets over to LaRue, over to second, over to first, and not in time. 1 run comes in to score.
Yeah, you could tell there that Wilson wanted that one. Just late on the throw there. And it'll end up being called a fielder's choice as Hamilton scores another one, and it's now 6-1.
Left fielder, number 1, Drew Lawrence.
So here comes Drew Lawrence, and yes, indeed, trying to turn that double play. Very quickly on the ball was LaRue. Or I think that was actually Connor Morrow that got to it, but they were able to turn 1 at second base. But 1 run comes in to score, and you're right, a 6-1 lead for the Cardinals, as they have now scored a run in 4 out of 5 innings here tonight.
Yeah, Morrow made a good play on that ball, got the transition quickly, but it just was not hit hard enough to him to turn the double play.
There's a strike. And now Dean's a strike away from getting out of it. Runners on the corners. Swing and a miss, strike 3, he got him.
What a job there by Brandon Dean, sort of shut things down. Allows 1 run, but is able to get the strikeout there. Sequences the pitches nicely, starts him off with the fastball, changes the eye level with the off speed, and then just powers it by him to get the 3-pitch strikeout.
So we're going to head to the bottom of the 5th inning here, and just a final stat line on Jacob Cush after he exits the ball game in that last inning.
Yeah, Cush, final stat line, 4 1/3 innings pitched, 6 earned runs, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts, and 7 hits. And, tough outing for him for sure. Got behind in the count quite a bit and gave up some hits. Also some soft contact that just ended up dropping. but not exactly what you want to see. But the thing about Cush is that he battled every single pitch. He didn't give up at any point. Like, there were times where the Cardinals could have scored more. They had the bases loaded twice, but only came up with 1 or 2 runs in each situation. Didn't get the big hit, but there was a lot of traffic that resulted in this 6-run lead.
Well, and you look at his outing as well. You think about those strikeouts, a lot of those coming early, including 3 of them in the first. Really felt like he was starting to cook early on. But once it started to get through the second time around the order, that's when really the Cardinals started to recognize what Cush was offering.
Yeah, I mean, he just lacked a little bit of control early in the count, and that's the last thing that you want to do as a starting pitcher is fall behind the hitters, and Cush was doing that relatively consistently tonight. Just not in control of the situation. When you're ahead in the count, you're in control. You can throw whatever you want to throw. Even if it misses off the plate, you get another try. But a 3-ball count, all of a sudden, the pressure's on you as opposed to being on the hitter.
Well, Soldana continuing on as he has had himself quite the outing. Just 46 pitches through 4 innings of work, and he will take on Andy Leader, the number 9 hitter, to lead things off here in the 5th.
46 pitches is a really, really solid rate to be working at. If you're a starting pitcher, you want to be right around 15 per inning, and he's right now just like at 11 and a little bit more per inning, and that's great stuff from Soldana here.
So it'll be Leader, Torres, and Morrow due up for the Royals, who have been getting their hits lately. Just got to find a way to turn those hits into runs as Leader skips out of the way for ball 1.
Yeah, Guelph 4 hits on the night, but just one of those runners has come around to score. And Soldana has yet to surrender a walk either.
Leader, a chopper over to Brown, throw to first in time, and Leader's retired.
Yeah, nice job there by Brown to field that one off the hop. He kind of got a little bit of a Hastings hop there. He kind of set up in front of it, and then it went a little bit of a different way, but he was able to get the glove to the ball, flips it on to first with some efficiency, and is able to retire Leader, who runs relatively well.
So here comes Franklin Torres. He is 1 for 2. A single came around to score in the 3rd. That is the lone run on the ledger for the Guelph Royals here tonight. Glad to have you aboard. This is Hawaiian night here at Hastings Stadium. A number of lays around. I think I saw Garrett Takamatsu wearing I believe he was wearing a grass skirt during BP earlier on tonight.
Yeah, I think that was Takamatsu. That seems like something Garrett Takamatsu would do. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. The 0-1, fouled back.
Yeah, I saw one of the fans with a really cool shirt. It was a Hawaiian shirt, but it had sketches of Calvin and Hobbes all over it.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, fans really showing out, bringing the spirit here tonight.
Hey, why not? Well, it's the long weekend as well. Glad you're spending part of it with us. And it's an 0-2 count here on Torres. Starting to get that vacation feel, although if you go down into the Caribbean, it is extra hot. I speak from experience on that one, let me tell you.
Yeah, this is the perfect time of year to be in Toronto. You know, the weather's very nice up here. It's been a pretty hot summer, but, you know, it's been a pretty great time here.
Yeah, just the one rain out here at Hastings Stadium this year, as that one misses on the outside. Yeah, not much to complain about here in Guelph when it comes to the rains interrupting games. Just the one game that has had to be rescheduled this season. The 1-2. Fouled out of play.
Yeah, throughout the summer, the weather, like the temperature has been really, really nice. We've had a couple of days where the air quality hasn't been super great. Some wildfires over in Manitoba.
Yeah, northeastern Ontario as well. I know just kind of in the Gogama area going up toward Kirkland Lake. Chopper, grabbed there by Brown. He gets on the hop over to first. In time, a dart to get out Torres.
Yeah, 2 great plays in a row there by Brown over at third. Gets the weird hop and able to deal with it there. then rushes that chopper, and is able to flip it onto first fairly quickly to retire the first two batters.
So here comes Connor Morrow. Has reached base both times he's been up. Beautiful bunt single his last time up. But no bunting situation here for him, although he could catch somebody off guard with how deep the infield is playing. That one misses inside, 1-0.
As you say, that Brown comes in playing a little closer to the line than he was in Morrow's last at bat. Shortstop and second base and first base playing well behind the bags, though.
Squibber into foul territory. That one's going to drop in front of the Cardinals dugout.
Yeah, lots of foul territory here at Hastings. In order to make a play on a ball like that might be out of play at somewhere like Christie Pitts, for example, you're gonna have to run. You're gonna have to make a good one.
So Morrow with 1 ball, 1 strike. Soldana deals, misses upstairs, and the Cardinals dugout very lively here tonight, as they always are. No matter where they are, they're always making a lot of noise on every pitch. The 2-1, that one in for a strike.
Soldana misses with the fastball up, then comes back and front doors that changeup fairly nicely. Just drops in there, low in the zone. Nothing for Morrow to do with that pitch.
Get out of the inning with this one. The 2-2. Chopper right to Brown, gets it on the hop. What a third baseman. Throw over to first in time as Brown gets in on the act on all 3 outs in that inning. 3 spectacular plays by the third baseman. And it's a 6-1 lead to carry into the 6th inning here at Hastings Stadium in Guelph. The Cardinals up by 5 here on Royals TV.
Heard you looking for a hero. Well, look up. Yeah, I got the heart of a champion. If I get knocked down, I get back up. I got the heart of a champion. If I get knocked down, I get back up.
Hard line drive up the middle. Whoa! Lindor out of nowhere. How did he do that?
That Lindor can play. I don't know about that hair. And don't get me started on those gloves.
I don't know. I kind of like it.
It's time for a revolution. The Ref 1X by Rollins.
Welcome back inside Hastings Stadium in Guelph. You are watching Royals TV. Mark Perry, Noam Streifer here with you as Brandon Deans comes back out here for the Guelph Royals. It is the 6th inning of play. The Hamilton Cardinals 6, the Guelph Royals 1. And it's the top of the order here for the Hamilton Cardinals. It'll be Yoki Pena, Brandon Nickel, and Tyler Duncan due up. First pitch in with some heat. Strike one right down the Broadway street. More toward the outside, though.
Yeah, Deans did a nice job working out of the jam last inning.
Chopper grabbed there by Wilson. He'll flip it to Deans. Comes over.
I was just saying, he did a nice job to work out of the jam last inning. Got 2 outs, including one of them being a strikeout. Did allow a run, but that will be charged to Jacob Cush, as it was the runner that he allowed to reach third base. Deans, reliever with the ability, somebody who's had a couple starts, somebody who with the ability to go a few innings. So I expect the Royals to kind of put it on his shoulders for at least 3, maybe 4 innings, try and get them closer to the end of this game.
Well, here's Brandon Nickel. He's 0 for 3. Deans down into the dirt. Now look at these splits for the Hamilton Cardinals. Brandon Nickel hitting .278 in his last 5 as he launches one high. Too high, though, and J.D. Williams gets underneath it.
Yeah, Williams playing deep on that one there, like you said earlier, in that no-doubles defense. Worked to his favor this time around, though, as he doesn't have to move too much to get to that fly ball, which was hit pretty well.
That'll bring up Tyler Duncan. He has reached base twice tonight, but he's 0 for 1. Well, Dean's doing a good job on mop-up duty here so far, although it's a little early to tell. That one just missing.
Yeah, 4 outs, relatively efficient with those outs thus far. Definitely not a bad pitcher to have in your mop-up role kind of situation. And, you know, the Royals, we know that they can spring off a bunch of runs when they really need to.
Fouled away by Duncan.
Heads into the parking lot here at Hastings.
Where'd you park?
Far.
Good idea. Good idea.
Yeah, my first time calling one of these games, one of our colleagues, Josh, I pulled up right at the front of the stadium, and he's like, move your car back.
That one's right on over to Morrow. Throw to first, and in time, he got him.
Textbook play there by Morrow. He gets to that ball, plants his feet, throws a strike onto first there. Doesn't rush the throw. A lot of times, the shortstop will kind of try and throw that off balance, make the play quickly, but understands his ability and gets the runner there on what was a very tough play.
Well, let's take a look outside the confines of Hastings Stadium in Guelph. 3 games happening across the league, minus this one, of course. One of them has gone final. The Welland Jackfish pummel the Barry Bay Cats 15-1. And we know the Welland Jackfish lately, they have struggled mightily at Welland Stadium. Losers of 4 straight games at home. Well, they made a statement in a home win over one of the better teams in the IBL. Elsewhere, the Kitchener Panthers have just made it 4-3. They are leading the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers, so some good news for the Cardinals and the Royals as both of them look to gain some ground on the Barnstormers here tonight. That game, by the way, at Fergie Jenkins in the top half of the 7th. The other game happening, Maple Leafs 8, the London Majors 3 in the top of the 6th. As again, that 6th spot in the 3rd really holding up well for the Toronto Maple Leafs in that one over on a Saturday night at Christie Pitts. Not usually used to those Saturday night games in Toronto, usually used to those Sunday afternoon games, but nonetheless, Toronto getting it done at home.
Yeah, I think they've switched it up a little bit. Still lots of Sunday afternoon games back in Toronto, but some Saturday evenings as well. Also, they've been doing some Friday night lights as well over there in Toronto. I don't know, just kind of spreading things out over the weekend a little more, and it's been a pretty good success for them.
I mean, with new ownership, just trying to try out new things. I think that's the similar thing that's being tried out in Brantford and Kitchener, respectively, where you have this ownership trying to, create the team in their own image, if you will. The Schooley family and the Hirani family combining in Kitchener, in fact, to create Waterloo Region Sports and Entertainment. So they have really started to change things up in Kitchener, both on the field and off, but also in Brantford. You think about the moving of the start times on Friday nights all the way back to about 7:15, although still having to work with that sun delay anyway, and of course free entry over in Brantford as well all season long, as they have still just a couple of games left before the end of their season, as it doesn't look like they will make the postseason, as it seems academic that that's going to be the result for them this year, but still not officially out of it as of yet.
Yeah, well, and that free admission is one of my favorite things about the Intercounty Baseball League. They do it over in Toronto, too. It just makes baseball so accessible for anyone who wants to go and watch, and they put on a good product here.
The 1-0 is going to hit Pena right on the shoulder blade, it looked like, as it gets away from Enrique Soldana.
Yeah, hit him like on the back part of the shoulder, of his shoulder facing the pitcher there. I think that was just a fastball that Soldana just lost his grip on. But the Royals now have a runner on base to start this inning.
So this will bring up Liam Wilson, as it is still Soldana out there, 59 pitches in. He has been rather conservative with his pitch count all night long. He's up to 60 now, I should say. But could that be the start of something here for the Royals, or will Soldana and the Cardinals get out of it?
Well, he missed arm side on that pitch as well, which is kind of a classic sign of pitcher fatigue. So it'll be interesting to see if the Royals can capitalize on this opportunity.
First pitch seen by Wilson. He'll foul that one off of his own foot. Wilson 1 for 2 with a single. Flew one to right field his last time up. That one just missing downstairs. He was trying to pick that bottom corner. Curious to see what that pitch selection is going to be like now with the Royals going through the order for the third time here tonight. So they've started to pick things up a little bit here on Soldana. See how much they have learned. The 1-1. That one's down the left field line into the crowd. Everybody ducking for cover.
Yeah, Wilson got a pretty good swing off on that one. Just a little early on the off-speed pitch, but made pretty good contact on the barrel of the bat. A little bit more, just as a team, they're looking a little bit more confident against Soldana here in this inning.
Well, they need that confidence. Still a lot of ball to be played here in the bottom of the sixth. Soldana gets set, deals inside, gets away from him. 2 balls, 2 strikes. As you saw Hernandez there set up again a little bit more toward the outside, and maybe it's maybe a little bit of miscommunication there, or
yeah, possibly some miscommunication. Soldana also just been missing arm side a little bit since the start of this inning. The fatigue getting to him. Hasn't exactly been able to spin the off speed the way that he wants back into the zone against the right-handed hitters.
Well, he'll try again. Hernandez again set up outside. Chopper. Soldana gets to it. Throw over to first in time. That'll advance the runner over to second, but Wilson is retired on the 1-3.
Acts essentially as a sacrifice there. Soldana took a quick look over to second base, but the shortstop hadn't gotten to the bag yet. So he just flipped it on to Kakatos at first for the out. But now, Royals with a runner in scoring position for Garrett Takamatsu.
And Tak is 0 for 1. He was hit by a pitch back in the first. And now with a runner in scoring position, a chance to try to drive him home. That one right through the gap. That one's going to bounce off of the base and into left center. One run comes in to score. It's 6-2.
And what a job by Takamatsu. Doesn't overcomplicate things at all. Takes the first pitch he sees, lines it up the middle, hits it hard on the ground actually. Bounces off the base there, and that might have been what caused the run to be able to come around to score there. Just gets away into no man's land in the outfield, and there wasn't really a chance to make a throw there.
You know you got some luck under you when you can line it so hard and so accurately. You're actually hitting a base with that much fervor to completely just pinball it into left center.
Yeah, just trying to go up the middle and literally sent it exactly up the middle.
So here's J.D. Williams. Puts that one right on over to Nickel. Throw over to second, over to first, and not in time. J.D. gets on with the fielder's choice.
A nice job there by Nickel to be able to get the play on the lead runner. Williams runs significantly better than Takamatsu, so it ends up being logged as a fielder's choice instead of the double play, as Williams is able to beat out the throw on a ball that was kind of hit into the gap area at shortstop.
So here comes Brando LaRue with a runner on first. 2 away. And now it's a 4-run game. LaRue 1 for 2. Puts that one into foul territory. Everybody ducking for cover on that one as well.
Yeah, Hastings is one of those stadiums you definitely want to bring a glove to, especially if you're gonna sit down on one of the lines there. No netting to protect you, so you got to be ready for anything here.
It's set here again. The 0-1. Another one fouled away and right off the facing of the grandstand.
Yeah, LaRue fouls it straight back there. So again, has timed up Soldana really nicely on the fastball there. We'll see. Last time you called the off speed coming in, so it'll be interesting to see how he responds here with a little bit of a different count.
Soldana a pitch away from getting through 6. LaRue would like to change that.
Defense playing LaRue slightly to pull. Big open gap on the right side of the infield.
Could he turn it the other way? The 0-2. The runner's going to go. He puts it down the other way, but it's going to go into foul territory. And the runner was off on the pitch, too, so they are really trying that hit and run here.
Yeah, well, it's a good call, honestly. LaRue handles the bat pretty well. Davis over at first, just a very solid base runner. So, J.D. Williams. I don't know why I said Davis. Solid base runner over at first. So kind of your quintessential hit and run situation.
Fans in full throat here at Hastings. The 0-2 from Soldana. That one right on the edge for strike 3. Freezing Brando, and he is having a couple of words with the home plate umpire. Did not like that call.
Yeah, that pitch kind of had some arm side movement a little bit. Looked like it was going to be coming off the plate from the release point, but then it kind of shifts back inside there. Sort of like I think might be a little bit of a cutter action on that fastball. So really, really nice pitch to end things off there for Soldana.
So that is strikeout number 2 for Soldana, and we are through 6 here at Hastings Stadium in Guelph. You are watching Royals TV. The Cardinals up 6-2. Welcome back to Royals TV. We're heading into the 7th here at Hastings Stadium in Guelph. Mark Perry, Noam Streifer here in the booth, and it is Nico Kakatos to lead things off for the Cardinals, who have a 6-2 lead. That's in for strike one. Brandon Dean still on the bump here for Guelph.
And Dean's entering his 3rd inning of work through 5 outs so far. 2 strikeouts, I believe. Or just 1 strikeout, my mistake.
Yeah, just the one so far.
But good soft contact otherwise, and has kind of held things down for this Guelph Royals team as they look to battle back.
That one right on over to Morrow. Over to first in time. Kakatos retired on the 6-3.
Nice job there by Dean. Throws the off-speed lower part of the zone. Gets a classic ground ball right over to the shortstop. Starts things off with an out here. That's exactly what you want to see coming off a run-scoring inning for the Royals.
So here's Jomar Hernandez. Singled and scored his last time up. Part of that 2-run 5th inning. Fouls that one. Right to the backstop. Dean's back with a bit of heat there, puts it upstairs. A little bit more to the outside, I should say. Do have a new pitcher warming up for the Royals. The 1-1, swing and a miss. One ball, 2 strikes here on Hernandez. Swing and a miss. Deans brings the gas. No brakes on that one, 2 away.
Yeah, great job by Deans there. Again, working very efficiently through this inning. Gets the ground ball on the second pitch of the inning. Then a quick at bat there. Now he gets to face Williams with the bases empty, and as we all know, he had that home run earlier on.
Yeah, Josh Williams, 2 hits in this game, including that homer. Hit a single back in the 5th. That one misses downstairs. Williams with a pair of RBI as he drove in a run in the 5th. The 1-0 swings off the end of the bats.
I believe that's Andrew Case warming up out in the bullpen, number 36 for the Guelph Royals.
Would make sense, again, just trying to get in those appearances as Williams bounces that one right on over to Morrow, and he drops it. Morrow handcuffed, and Williams reaches base for the 3rd time tonight. This time on the error, that's going to be charged to Morrow.
And Morrow there on the high chopper sits back to wait for it. Kind of gets a little impatient on the transfer there and just doesn't get it done. And now, instead of a 3rd out of the inning, Deans will have to deal with Brown with a runner on base.
We will see what he can do. Brown takes one on the outside for ball 1. Fans getting a little bit quieter here at Hastings Stadium as this game moves along, as that one goes in for a strike.
Still getting into it at the big moments, but definitely not as interacted with the game during the lulls, down 6-2.
Dean's the 1-1, swing and a miss.
Nice job there by Deans. Gets the big, kind of throws the off speed at the lower part of the plate. Gets the early swing from Brown. Now he's in a 2-strike count here. He's trying to get out of this inning.
The The 1-2, that one missing downstairs.
I think that was a kind of a planned miss there. Pena was set up outside, and Deans was trying to get the chase on that pitch. And on a 1-2 count, not necessarily too worried about throwing something super duper competitive with the zone.
All right, he's hitting 343 against Deans. Lefty's hitting 318 against him.
That's 2 off speeds in a row that miss on the outside part of the plate. Now the count is full at 3-2.
Just got to focus on the batter here at this point.
Yeah, Wilson not even holding the runner on at first anymore.
See if he brings the gas. The 3-2. That one's put out of play. Pinballing away from the trees. And Williams will have to go back to first. Brown a single, a double. He was hit by a pitch his last time up. Upstairs, and that's ball 4. Brown gets on base for the 4th time tonight.
Yeah, an unfortunate turn of events for Brandon Deans. Should have been out of the inning before the Connor Morrow error. Then in that at bat, works it to a 1-2 count, then just loses the next 3 pitches. And now runner in scoring position. And Tommy Reyes-Cruz coming up to bat.
And Reyes-Cruz reached on a fielder's choice back in the 5th. This is another big moment with a 6-2 lead, looking to extend it. First pitch swinging for strike 1. The 0-1. There's some gas right on the inside edge for a strike. Dean's a pitch away. Checks on the runner. Missing outside, 1-2.
Reyes-Cruz batting .250 against right-handed pitchers. 15 games, 40 at-bats, the .348 on-base percentage.
It looks like Connor Morrow needs a new glove. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, that's a good one. Let's blame the glove.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, it's kind of the old saying in sports. If there's a mistake made, always blame it on the equipment. It has nothing to do with you.
Yeah, you know what? Look good, play good. That's what they say.
Exactly. Get a little bit of extra flair, a little bit of extra color on that piece of equipment.
It's all confidence anyways.
Exactly. If you look good, you play good, right? 1 ball, 2 strikes. That one's put into center field and caught on the run by J.D. Williams. We're heading into stretch time here at Hastings Stadium in Guelph as the Hamilton Cardinals have a 6-2 lead.
Brandon Deans catching a little bit of a break there on a nice running catch by J.D. Williams. Yeah, he was playing that ball a little bit deep there, kind of had to come and run in very, very heavily on the line drive, but gets it done, and the Royals catch a break, don't allow a run after having runners on the corners.
Well, once again, we take a look around the IBL here at stretch time here at Hastings Stadium in Guelph. In Chatham-Kent, top 8. Kitchener still with a 4-3 lead on the Barnstormers. Kitchener, by the way, will face Barrie tomorrow afternoon. That'll be something that they'll have to deal with after Barrie got just absolutely demolished 15-1 by the Welland Jackfish. And elsewhere, the Maple Leafs still with an 8-3 lead on the London Majors. That game in the bottom of the 7th at Christie Pitts.
Yeah, the Leafs just recently broke a 10-game home losing streak at Christie Pitts. So, looking for another statement win against the London Majors, and something for Royals fans to be conscious of, like I mentioned earlier, sitting just a game and a half back in the standings.
Yes, and the You know, the watch on that 4, 5, and 6. Let's take a look at the standings once again. Now, keep in mind, these are the standings coming into tonight. It doesn't include that Welland victory over Barrie. So, again, you know, a game and a half back of the Hamilton Cardinals are Guelph. Hamilton with a win tonight combined with a Chatham-Kent loss. Hamilton would leapfrog Chatham-Kent into that 4 spot in the standings. And you mentioned it, partner, the Royals just a game and a half up on the Maple Leafs. Maple Leafs a game up on the Kitchener Panthers as well for that 8th and final playoff spot. So, again, you have that 4, 5, and 6 battle. You know, Toronto kind of coming up the rear in that regard as well. But you also have that 7-8 and the Kitchener Panthers, if they go on a late season surge, you know, trying to put themselves, more importantly, maybe away from having to battle a top team, a pennant winner in the first round of the playoffs for the second year in a row.
Yeah, well, and it'd be interesting because Kitchener Panthers, right, if it were to stack up how it is today, would play the Welland Jackfish at home. And as we know, the Jackfish, not the greatest home record, but so far this season, tonight's game, pretty good statement for them.
Yeah, 2 times that those two teams met at Welland Stadium, a close 4-3 victory for the Jackfish. Kitchener actually won their last meeting at Welland Stadium. Had 5 runs in the first and ended up winning the game. The 0-1 to Ethan Hammond. Takes one on the outside, 1-1. You know, maybe that's something to think into where, again, the Jackfish in the playoffs last year, even go back to that semifinal series against Guelph, they were 1-4 at home in the postseason en route to the semifinal defeats.
Well, all over the IBL this season, there's been some really interesting home versus road splits. Teams are playing significantly better on the road than they are at home, just across the league.
Hammond 0 for 2. Soldana still on the bump. The 2-1, that one missing inside. Now Soldana's pitch count now up to 75. And if you're at 75 at this juncture, I mean, that very much bodes well for you.
75 pitches through 7 innings of work, or 6 1/3, I should say. But even so, puts themselves in a very good position to go possibly the 8th and maybe even finish this game.
The 3-1, swing and a miss. And a lot of activity from the Hamilton Cardinals dugout. Just another one of those, you know, guys that, another one of those teams that have really kind of, you know, really come together with the change up at the managerial position with Luis Bernardo now leading the way. 3-2 counts. That one gets him on the outside, strike 3, and the fans letting the home plate umpire hear about it.
Yeah, Hammond not happy about that call. Tossed the bat away immediately, and then when the umpire called that 3rd strike, you could see just a little bit of glare in his eyes there. Not thrilled, and you know where the Royals should probably have a runner on first base now, they have an out instead.
So here comes Andy Leader, who's 0 for 2. As Soldana, you know, a very respectable stat line, although the strikeouts haven't really relied on it all that much in this game, if at all. The defense has been sublime for this Cardinals roster. The delivery, chopper, right on over to Brown. Throw over to first in time to retire Leader. There's 2 down. And, you know, talk about the defense. Jaden Brown has been massive in this ball game.
Yeah, Royals on the night, 2 errors. Sorry, not the Royals. The Cardinals on the night, 2 errors. Both of them coming back in the first and second innings. Since then, kind of completely settled in and played very, very sound defense behind Soldana, who, as we know, is a good pitch to contact kind of guy. So kind of the exact scenario that the Cardinals needed tonight in order to succeed.
Back to the top of the order we go with Franklin Torres. First pitch he sees. In on the hands, fouls it back. Torres 1 for 3 with a single back in the third.
Torres batting .625 on the season, even with just going 1 for 3 tonight. Just the kind of guy that you want setting the table for these Guelph Royals.
And again, fouls that one off of the foot.
Well, he has yet to strike out in the IBL yet this summer. 4 walks, no strikeouts, 9 hits, 2 RBIs in 13 at-bats thus far. So, very early. I'm sure he'll strike out at some point, but really showcasing the excellent discipline skills.
Broadcaster jinx, perhaps, right here?
Don't say that to me.
Hey, it happens to the best of us, my friend. Here comes the 0-2. And that one gets away from Soldana. And he had to avert his eyes away from that one, just hoping that it didn't hit Torres.
Yeah, just completely lost grip on that pitch. Thankfully, Torres able to get out of the way of that one, but it was heading towards his head, like sort of the back head of the head area. So, thankfully, everyone's fine here at Hastings, but scary moment.
So 1 ball, 2 strikes here now, and Torres getting set up. Here it comes. Holds off, and he did not go around. The appeal over to first says that Torres is still alive.
Yeah, since you mentioned the announcer's curse, 2 straight balls. That's all I'm going to say.
All right, all right. You don't believe in a broadcaster's jinx, do you?
I don't. No, you know
Okay,
what?
good. I like you. I don't either.
I think superstitions are only superstitions if we give them power.
Exactly. Not even a little stitious. Here comes the 2-2. That one missing on the outside. Well, there's 3 straight balls now. Good job here by Torres, more importantly, as turns an 0-2 count into a 3-2 count. Soldana deals. That one's put into right field. It's got some distance. It's going to go all the way to the wall. Circling around to second. Torres gets in there standing up. A 2-out double.
What a job there by Torres. Goes down 0-2 early in the at-bat. Watches 3 straight balls. Finally gets a pitch to hit and just drives it into the gap the other way. To the deepest part of the yard. One hops the wall. Just an excellent job on that play to keep himself alive, and now Connor Morrow will get a chance with a runner in scoring position.
Well, as we're reaching the part of the ball game where we're counting outs, here in the bottom of the 7th, this would be a big-time moment here for Morrow to get another hit and close the gap to just 3 runs.
Only 7 outs remaining for these Guelph Royals. So every pitch counts.
That went into the dirt. Well, it's 87 pitches now for Soldana, who's having himself quite the outing.
Yeah, 60 strikes, just 27 balls. Command has faltered a little bit here in the 7th to this point, but nonetheless, just absolutely excellent stuff from him.
The 1-0. That one's put into left field, and it's going to drop foul.
Morrow just early on that one. Barrels it up. Just hits it a little bit too far down the line and out of play, but puts himself in a good position here because now making Soldana a little bit more uncomfortable on the mound here late into his start.
There is some movement in the bullpen for the Cardinals. I see a lefty out there. Don't have a number for you, but a little bit of activity out there to back up Soldana. The 1-1. Missing downstairs. Yeah, Morrow dropping that bunt in the third, got on with the single. Was caught stealing over at third base in that inning.
Yeah, he didn't even get the pitch off on that one. Was just rung up by the pitcher. He just left the bag early.
The 2-1. That one missing inside.
Hitters count here for Morrow 3-1 with a runner in scoring position. Definitely a little bit more jittery on the mound here for Soldana. Will Morrow be able to capitalize?
With runners in scoring position and 2 away, the Royals coming into today hitting just 198, although they've driven in 26 runs. And getting off the bump there is Soldana, and not even attempting to throw back over to second base with nobody there.
Yeah, Torres dancing a little bit there out at second. Both the shortstop and the second baseman playing a little far away. Second baseman's going to move a little bit closer now to the bag. Or move a little further now, I guess.
The 3-1. That one missing inside, and Morrow will get on base for Kaner Pena.
Big at-bat here for Kaner Pena. Just 10 at-bats thus far this season. But we know the impact that he's had for this Royals team throughout this hot streak.
Well, there is the signal from Luis Bernardo as he comes to the mound. That's going to do it for Enrique Soldana. A new pitcher will come into the ball game for the Hamilton Cardinals, who have a 6-2 lead on the Guelph Royals, but the Royals threatening here with 2 on and 2 out. You're watching Royals TV. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Royals TV in Guelph. We are live at David E. Hastings Stadium. It is a 6-2 lead for the Hamilton Cardinals, and the doctor is in, as our friend Reed Duthie in the Hammer would always say. Stephen Hospital coming into the game for the Hamilton Cardinals, taking over for Enrique Soldana.
Hospital on the season, 3.92 ERA in 16 games, has pitched 18 1/3 innings. Elite strikeout stuff, 19 strikeouts and just 6 walks. But last time out against Welland, that's actually 2 tough outings in a row. July 25th against Barrie, surrendered 2 earned runs, wasn't able to get out of the inning. And then very same thing happened next time against Welland on July 27th. 2 earned runs, wasn't able to get out of the inning, walked a batter. So in the last few games, his ERA has inflated. Before that, on July 24th, his ERA sat at 2.12, and now it's up almost at 4 on the season.
Well, 17th appearance, now leading the Cardinals in that category among their pitching staff. But he's in for a tough test here. Kaner Pena hit by a pitch and scored back in the 6th. He's 0 for 2 otherwise, but stepping up in a big moment. That one right on the outside edge for a strike. Torres on second, Morrow on first, and that one's fouled back.
Hospital, 190 pounds, stands at 6'5". Born May 17th, 2000. He's an Oakville, Ontario native. Lots of good baseball out in Oakville.
Yeah, Niagara University alum. And he's got that height, and that can really work to your advantage here. The 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. Pena goes down on strikes, and that'll do it as Hospital one up, one down to get through the inning. The Royals have some work to do. They're down by 4 here at Hastings Stadium in Guelph. We'll be back after this. This is Royals TV.
Heard you looking for a hero. Well, look up. Yeah, I got the heart of a champion. If I get knocked down, I get back up. I got the heart of a champion. If I get knocked down, I get back up.
Hard line drive up the middle. Whoa! Lindor out of nowhere. How did he do that?
That Lindor can play. I don't know about that hair. And don't get me started on those gloves.
I don't know. I kind of like it.
It's time for a revolution. The Ref 1X by Rollins.
Welcome back to Royals TV. Into the 8th inning we go here at Hastings Stadium, and Andrew Case comes into the ball game, taking over for Brandon Deans.
Case, just one appearance thus far this season, actually came last night against the Hamilton Cardinals. He threw one inning of work, allowed a run in that inning, but also struck out the side while facing 5 batters. So not a lot known about him, and the Guelph Royals kind of just trying to see what they've got with this new arm.
Well, and I think if anything, this also gives him yet another appearance to qualify him for the postseason. As it didn't look like Deans was pitching too badly through 2 2/3, but again, we're getting to the nitty-gritty, and you got to get these guys qualified, and you look for any opportunity you can do so. So here's Andrew Case taking on Drew Lawrence, who is 0 for 2 with a walk. That one painting the outside edge.
Quickly an 0-2 count for Andrew Case.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Case brings the heat.
Yeah, nice job there by Case. 2 straight fastballs to start off the at-bat. Establishes himself and his ability right off the bat. Completely crosses things up on the last pitch there. Throws a slider in the dirt to get the swing and miss.
So here's Yoki Pena. He's 0 for 2. That one goes in for a strike. Popped up into foul territory. 0-2.
Y'all gotta stop with that car alarm sound effect, dude.
The delivery, that one just missing on the outside edge. And the fans not too thrilled on that one. They thought that was strike 3. Chopper goes foul. Case, another one of those additions right at the deadline. Former Royal, former Toronto Blue Jay. Well, played in their minor league system for quite a while. That one getting in for strike 3, and Pena cannot believe it as Case with a Picasso there on the inside edge.
Yeah, Andrew Case making it as high as Triple-A in the Toronto Blue Jays system. Didn't even do too bad. In 2018, pitched to a 3 ERA on the year. Spent better part of a decade in that organization from 2014 to 2019, so half a decade.
That one just on the outside, but hits the strike zone. 0-1 here on Brandon Nickel. Yeah, Case also spent some time in the Frontier League. There's a swing and getting a piece of it there was Nickel. He's 0 for 4 with a pair of strikeouts. Yeah, played in the Venezuelan Winter League back in 2022.
Spent time with the Capitals de Quebec in the Frontier League as well as in the Mexican League the season prior.
He comes highly heralded as, he's one of those ninth inning options you can turn to.
Yeah, lots of experience in high leverage situations, just lots of experience in general. He spent so much time with affiliated ball and then in other professional organizations.
That went into the dirt, 1-2. Well, you move Edgar Garcia into the bullpen after you had him starting for a little while. Now you bring in Andrew Case. Now you can kind of balance it out, and you can go to Edgar one day, you can go to Case another, and try to figure out, okay, who's the better option going into the ninth inning. You might have an 8th inning and a 9th inning option there where you can have, Edgar set up for Andrew or Andrew set up for Edgar.
Yeah, well, once you get around to the playoffs, the starting pitcher, they are important, but it also becomes more about how you manage them, as that strike number 3 right there.
As Andrew Case strikes out the side here in the 8th. It's a 6-2 lead. The Hamilton Cardinals remain up as we head to the home half of the 8th inning. And let's talk about that a little bit more, Noam, where you have this depth that you have to work with. And again, it's just a bevy of options you can go to, and you have guys that are coming out of that are in the rotation, and then you can turn to, say, a Chris Lazar. You can turn, to a Brandon Deans, who we saw here tonight. Andrew Case is another one of those options. Nelson Mercado and Reese Montgomery is another couple of guys that you can turn to here as well. Kyle Thomas as well. So there's a lot that they have to work with in that bullpen.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have all of that pitching depth. And, like I was saying before, once you get around to the playoffs, the starting role is still there, but it's more so like you want the best pitcher for a given situation. So you might see somebody go 3 innings and then go to another, like an opener for 3 innings, and then go to another starter will come out of the pen for 3 innings. So having that versatility with someone like Edgar Garcia is huge. And actually, the sort of archetype for this that would exist in Major League Baseball is someone like the Detroit Tigers. Mm-hmm. Aside from Tariq Skubal, a lot of their starting pitchers go 3 to 5 innings, and then they turn things over to some length guys in the bullpen to finish things out. That gives them the advantage of not having to see the batters for a 3rd time through the order.
Well, Stephen Hospital remaining on the bump here for the Cards, and maybe a 3-inning save opportunity for him. Well, actually, he wouldn't get that because he's only gone through just a 1/3 of an inning. So he won't get the 3 innings required. But here we are on the bottom of the 8th, and it's going to be Liam Wilson, Garrett Takamatsu, and J.D. Williams due up. That is a good 3 to have up here in the late stages of this ballgame.
Yeah, well, and heading into the final 6 outs for these Guelph Royals up against a formidable opponent in Hospital, it's got to get into the time where you need to start getting those hits.
Popped up. Nickel getting underneath it at shortstop. In shallow left center, he'll make the grab. And Wilson goes down.
big reaction from the crowd here at Hastings. Wilson hit that ball pretty damn hard, but he just hit it way up into the sky.
Well, now it's going to be Garrett Takamatsu, the former MVP. Singled his last time up. Was also hit by a pitch earlier on. You need that bat going. That is for sure. That goes in for a strike. And Garrett's really heating up, specifically in the last 5 games, but struggling here, not only against Soldana, but also falling 0-1 here to hospital here. That one's fouled back. Popped one up to the shortstop back in the 4th. And again, just another bat that you need to keep going for you. He's been one of the more consistent bats all season long. Former Toronto Maple Leaf, former IBL MVP, Rookie of the Year. That one missing on the outside. They thought they had it, but they didn't.
Yeah, Jomar Hernandez on that pitch really trying to pull it back into the strike zone to get the call there. Just couldn't get the frame job, didn't fool the umpire the way that you might want to.
Quick update from Chatham-Kent. The Barnstormers now with a 7-4 lead on Kitchener. That one into the top of the 9th. So Chatham-Kent doing some damage. Not good news for either of these two teams as that one goes out of play. As a win would keep Chatham-Kent into that 4th spot in the IBL standings. Still a little bit more baseball to go, mind you, but this head-to-head matchup, I think, is more what these two teams are focused on with 2 more games after tonight. The 1-2 chopper, he got a piece of it and just barely stays alive. Yeah, one more matchup at Bernie Arbor Stadium. One more matchup here in Guelph. It's that rain-out makeup game. Should mention it again for those that aren't aware. That is on August 12th, a Tuesday night here at Hastings. The rainout from last Saturday. The 1-2 missing on the outside, 2-2.
Yeah, catcher was set up just a little bit inside there. Competitive pitch, but he had to kind of reach outwards for it. Couldn't get the frame job done there.
We'll try again with the 2-2. Hernandez setting his glove up outside. That one is launched high and deep. Playable perhaps. Over to the other side is Pena, and he makes the catch just in front of the warning track right near the foul pole, and there's 2 away.
Yeah, a hit like that really just kind of showcases the power, ability, and the strength of Garrett Takamatsu. Hit it very much off the end of the bat, didn't hit it very well, but still got it out to the warning track in the corner there here at Hastings. So not the greatest contact, but pretty good hit to show for it nonetheless.
So bring up J.D. Williams. Royals down to their final 4 outs. As Hospital's doing an impeccable job here. That one just missing on the outside. As this strike zone has kind of been a little bit hit or miss, if you will, here tonight. I've seen some calls go the other way on that exact location. The 1-0, that one's fouled back.
Yeah, I think it has the most to do with where the catcher is setting up. This umpire seems to be very susceptible to where he's moving his glove to. And if he sets up inside on a ball that's outside, he's going to miss that call, whereas if he's setting up outside, he's going to get it.
The 1-1. That one's flared into foul ground. So we can tell you it is a final score. The Barnstormers now have won it 7-4 over Kitchener. So the Barnstormers increase their lead in the standings. as that one misses upstairs. They are now 2.5 up on Guelph. And London here 4 outs away from just keeping pace with the Barnstormers. Also in other news, the Maple Leafs winning 8-5 over the London Majors. That one misses downstairs. So all the results around the IBL not exactly friendly to the Guelph Royals, as they just continue to focus on the task at hand here at Hastings. 3 balls, 2 strikes here on JD. That one's put into right field, and that one's going to drop. JD circling around, and he'll just stay on with a single.
Williams right there taking the off speed, lining it towards the opposite field there. Really just good bat to ball skills on that swing there. And some signs of life here from the Guelph Royals before Brando LaRue comes up to the plate.
And LaRue is 1 for 3. Hit his single back in the 4th, but that was, of course, against Soldana, who had a phenomenal outing. Checked the swing, he went around. Appeal over to the first base umpire, says he did so. And no balls, 1 strike here on Brando. The 0-1 holds off. Did he go around? No, he did not. 1-1.
Williams basically level with the lip of the grass on his most recent lead. So not super aggressive, not too conservative either. Wouldn't be super surprised to see if the Royals choose to send him here.
One ball, 1 strike. The delivery upstairs, 2-1. Good eye from Brando there. Williams on first. He takes off. That one's going to go into foul ground. Kakato's getting underneath it. He'll make the catch. And the Cardinals get out of it. To the 9th we go here at Hastings. The Cardinals 6, the Royals 2 here on Royals TV. Welcome back to Royals TV, setting up the 9th inning here at Hastings Stadium in Guelph. Mark Perry and Holm Stryfer here. The Hamilton Cardinals with a 6-2 lead on the Guelph Royals, and the Royals will turn it to their lefty, the laser beam, Chris Lazar.
Chris Lazar into this one. Acquired from the Barrie Baycats earlier this season at the deadline. Has a 10.8 ERA on the season in 7 games, 10 innings pitched on the year. Last time out, just pitched 2 innings, just surrendered 2 hits, facing 8 batters, and didn't allow a run.
Well, he's been perfect since coming over here. Just the 2 appearances for the Guelph Royals, and hasn't given up a run in either of those 2 games. Just the 3 hits. As Lazar, coming over to Guelph is more of a, change of pace, if you will. Moved to Cambridge in the off season and was doing that long trek up to Barrie for most of the year, and just decided that, it's probably better to just take some time off. And, as we talked about in the IBL Inside Pitch podcast, we had him on just a couple of weeks ago and said that he wasn't sure what was going to happen. And there's a swing and a miss for Tyler Duncan. Wasn't too sure what was going to happen, and perhaps just wanted to sit on the waiver wire for a little bit to just kind of reset. A guy that's been around these parts for a while, former Hamilton Cardinal as well. And then got a call just a couple of days later, got some interest, and came up here to the Guelph Royals organization. He liked what he saw, and only having to travel just a short distance from Cambridge to get up here. So let's put on some royal blue.
Yeah, well, and that travel thing that's a very big deal. I mean, we talk all the time about the commute that the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers have to make regularly coming out to the rest of Ontario from there. So just having that little change of pace as well has been huge for his game, and the dividends are already paying for the Guelph Royals.
Well, 1 ball, 2 strikes here on Tyler Duncan. That one's flared high. LaRue getting underneath it. He gets called off, and over to make the grab is Connor Morrow. So 1 down here for Nico Kakatos.
Good first at bat there for Chris Lazar. Able to get the soft contact on the fly ball. Nice play over there by Morrow as well, who had to run a long way for that ball, but it's 1 out here in the 9th.
Kakatos with a single in this game. Also with a walk. He's 1 for 3.
That walk coming back in the 3rd inning.
Hold off on the swing, but that one goes across. And the Cardinals in action tomorrow. They will be at Arnold Anderson Stadium in Brantford as that one goes in for a strike. Good location there from Chris Lazar as he beats him inside. That one's put into center field. Base hit for Kakatos.
Tough one there for Lazar. Gets some pretty soft contact there, but just ends up landing in no man's land up the middle for a base hit. Those are the kinds of ones as a pitcher where you have to remind yourself that it's the process. You still had a good at bat there. You still got the good contact. Just an unfortunate turn of events.
Well, here's Jama Hernandez. He's got a power bat. With now a runner on first. Upstairs, 1-0.
Lazar asking for a new baseball.
Well, I talked about Hamilton being in action tomorrow at 2 o'clock in Brantford. Royals have a couple of days off. They'll be back here on Tuesday night. There's a swing and a miss. Back here Tuesday night against the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers. Just a few games remaining on the season. They have a 3-3 coming up next weekend. 1-1. That one's fouled away. Brendan Daly on deck. He'll take over for Josh Williams.
Move there, likely just to get the advantage of the righty versus lefty instead of the lefty-lefty matchup. Hamilton looking to add on here, secure the win.
Lazar giving Pena the nod. Pena setting up outside, moves inside. There's a swing and a miss, strike 3. Lazar gets Hernandez, and there's 2 away.
Lazar slowing things down on that last pitch, just puts a changeup in there, and he's just out in front on that swing. So now it's 2 outs for Brendan Daly. Again, Brandon Daly to get the righty versus lefty matchup here.
Kakados on first. That one missing upstairs. On the bottom of the 9th, Ethan Hammond, Andy Leader, and Franklin Torres are due up for the Royals, as they look to hold on to this 5-game winning streak, as that one misses downstairs.
Not a bad spot for the Royals to be in heading into the bottom of the 9th. Got 8, 9, and 1 due up. If Hammond and Leader can get on base, turn things over to the top of the order, it's not a bad spot for them to try and get those 4 runs back.
The 2-0, that one's fouled back into the screen.
Daly just missing that one, but fouling it straight back, so he's timing up the pitcher well on the fastball there.
And I do like what they're doing here in Hamilton right now. Again, the only pinch hitter has been Daly, taking over for the DH. Not switching things up on defense. The defense has been excellent in this game, as there's a strike.
Yeah, well, and why would you? Like you said, the defense has been excellent thus far tonight, and 4-run lead isn't the end-all, be-all of the game. You know, you're still a couple walks, and you're still 3 walks and a home run away from a tie game here.
That one just missing downstairs. Daly did well there to stay alive. So at the full count with 2 away.
The full count, Pena telling his fielders to move a little bit further back here, anticipating a deep swing.
The runner's going to go. That one missing inside, and Daly will get on base with a walk. And that'll bring up Jaden Brown, who has reached base all 4 times he has been at the plate.
Third baseman, number
A
6,
single, a
Jaden
double,
Brown.
hit by a pitch, and he walked as well. So he's been doing it all kinds of different ways. And Lazar getting into a little bit of trouble here in the 9th. As the Cardinals look to add some insurance. That one's fouled back.
Brown batting just .229 on the season. Strikes out a ton, 38 strikeouts, just 9 walks here. So a lot of chase in his game here. It's something that Lazar is going to want to try and capitalize on in this at-bat.
That one right across Broadway for a strike.
Quickly ahead 0-2 here, so Lazar likely to come off the plate with this pitch, throw something off speed, try and get a chase from the swing from Brown, who has a lot of swing and miss potential.
Delivery, that one missing downstairs, 1-2.
Yeah, he missed on that one, but again, I like the call on that pitch, trying to get the chase, there's not a lot of risk on that pitch there. Either he chases or he rolls over there if he chooses to swing. If not, it's a 1-2 count, and you're still in the driver's seat as a starting pitcher.
That one's delivered. That one just missed. Not by much, though.
I guess as the relief pitcher, I should say. We're long past the starter.
Yes. Yeah, Jacob Cush started this game, went 4 1/3. Brandon Deans went 2 2/3. Andrew Case came in. That one's right on over to Wilson. He gets it on the hop, and he will just take it himself to end the inning. So bottom of the 9th upcoming here. The Guelph Royals are down by 4. And I think they might be seeing Fernando Rodney. I think that's him walking up. We'll have to see. But the Hamilton Cardinals are up by 4. And the Royals are 3 outs away And yes, indeed, you can see the side hat, you can see the jog. That is indeed the veteran, the major league legend in Fernando Rodney to take over in the 9th here for the Hamilton Cardinals.
Well, and Fernando Rodney needs no introduction. Absolute legend in Major League Baseball. He's, I believe, 49 years old.
Yes, he is. 48.
Years old, today, pitching in the IBL, still doing what he loves, but sits 9th all-time on the saves leaderboard in the major leagues. Potentially a future Hall of Famer.
He's got a ring.
Spent time with the Tigers, the Angels, the Rays, and then later in his career, the Mariners, the White Sox, the Padres, the Marlins, the Diamondbacks, the Twins, and the Athletics.
Just a whole lot of work under his belt in many different locations. 11 teams he played for in his major league career. Won a World Series championship with the Nationals back in 2019. 3-time MLB All-Star. Tied the franchise record for the Rays with 48 saves in 2012.
Yeah, well, that World Series with the Nationals was kind of just the cherry on top of an excellent career for Fernando Rodney. He had done everything, like you said, broken that franchise record for saves. He's on the top 10 in the leaderboard for saves, a 3.8 career ERA, almost 1,000 innings pitched, better than 900 strikeouts. And then in that last season, even getting a little old, not at the best part of his game, able to throw some productive innings for a World Series winning Washington Nationals team. Just an absolutely legendary career, and we have the privilege of getting to watch him now.
Well, and he has had himself quite the season here for the Hamilton Cardinals as well. Just moving on over, was an all-star, of course, at Bernie Arbor Stadium just a couple of weeks ago. Rodney this season, his 15th appearance with a 4.61 ERA.
Yeah, that ERA a little bit inflated, though, because of a couple of tough first outings. He settled in very nicely in the later parts of this season. And even to be doing so, like just watching his warm-up pitches now at 48 years old, still with a very good amount of zip on his fastball for IBL standards. Just the privilege of these players to be able to be with somebody so knowledgeable, so experienced in baseball is genuinely incredible.
Well, he will take on Matthew Ward, who's going to sub in for Ethan Hammond here in the bottom of the 9th as Dino Ramel goes to his bench. As looks like they're going to have another man on deck. As that'll miss. Jordan Gallo is on deck. He'll take over the reins for Andy Leader. Just trying to give a different look. The 1-0 from Rodney. That one upstairs.
Matthew Ward having himself a pretty solid season, batting .280, 22 strikeouts, and 19 walks, so a pretty solid ratio there. 28 hits, 16 runs, scored in 3 home runs on the season for the Guelph Royals. Sitting at, this will be his 101st at bat.
Getting underneath it is Ward. It goes into left field, and Lawrence will make the catch, and there's one away. So Jordan Gallo will now take on the 48-year-old.
Pinch hitter, number 23, Jordan Gallo.
The youngster will take on the Major League veteran as the Royals trail by 4 here in the 9th. That one missing on the inside.
Gallo, a couple weeks back post-game, he was talking about his hitting approach, and he's somebody who's very, very routine-oriented. He wants to stay in the rhythm, in the routine, and he has to sort of make up with the mentality there as well.
There's a swing and a miss for strike one. As the fans trying to get under the skin of Fernando Rodney. Guys, this is a guy that's won a World Series that has pitched at the pinnacle of baseball. I don't know if you're going to get him here. The 1-1. That one's put into left center field, and it's going to get over Nickel. A base hit as Gallo gets on base.
Yeah, to your point there, pitching for the Tampa Bay Rays at Fenway Park is probably a little more intense than David E. Hastings Stadium in Guelph.
Yeah, and that's all due respect to the fine folks here at David E. Hastings Stadium.
Yeah, all due respect. Try and get under his skin. You know, he's 48 years old, maybe.
He's probably heard it all at this point.
Probably heard everything there is to hear. But as a fan, you got to be doing everything you can to try and drive your teammates.
Absolutely, as that'll go in for a strike. And another thing about Rodney here, too, is, you know, watch on this next pitch and just his release point. It's very unique. You don't really see that 12-6, more or less. It's kind of a 10-4, if anything. There's a swing and a miss.
Yeah, it's something that's kind of shifted. Back in the day, pitchers used to throw a lot more overhand, and now there's a little bit more focus on tunneling and where you're releasing the ball from and sort of getting that side spin on the fastball there. So Rodney, kind of like a little bit more of a traditional release compared to what a lot of younger pitchers are doing nowadays.
There's a swing and a miss. Strike three. Rodney puts down Torres, and the Royals are down to their final outs. Connor Morrow, the last chance for the Guelph Royals. Morrow has reached base 3 times, has the 1 hit. That'll go in for a strike.
Fans still trying to get to Rodney here at Hastings.
Oh, and that one's going to hit Morrow, losing the helmet. As that one got away from Rodney, and Morrow's going to be all right.
Yeah,
I can see Rodney immediately. He's just waiting to apologize.
Hit Morrow right on the flap of the batting helmet. Thankfully, he'll trot down to first looking okay, but it's a scary scene here at Hastings.
So here comes Kaner Pena. 2 out, 2 on. Swing and a miss. No balls, 1 strike here on Pena. Was hit by a pitch and scored in the 6th. Doesn't have a hit here tonight. Chopper fouls that one. And the Royals are down to their final strike.
Rodney bouncing back quickly after that hit by a pitch. Ahead 0-2 here. Starts him off with the fastball, then comes in with the off speed. And Pena was early on it.
So again, with the final game happening, Chatham-Kent, Toronto, and Welland all winners here tonight. All home wins. Lone home team trailing is the Guelph Royals here as that one bounces into the dirt.
Rodney throwing it in the dirt there, just trying to get the swing and miss on the off speed. Expect him to come back up and in the zone here, just try and tie up the batter.
Rodney gets the sign from Hernandez. That one missing outside. Gets away from Rodney there.
Rodney held on to it a little bit too long, missing his spot on that one. Catcher was set up over the inside part of the plate.
We'll try again. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That one sent foul. Kaner Pena stays alive. As the Hastings faithful starting to get behind their team here. Fernando Rodney looking to close this one out with this pitch. That one's going to hit Pena to load the bases.
Yeah, Rodney, some control issues here in this one. That's the second hit batter that he's had. He's always been missing outside just a little bit here so far. And now Royals are a home run away from tying this one with Wilson coming to the plate.
Here comes the trainer to check on Pena just to see if he's all right. And it's right in on the elbow, his left elbow where he was caught.
I think it hit just above the elbow guard.
And now we're going to get a mound visit as Rodney got the first out. But has hit his last two batters. Gallo is on third, Morrow on second, Liam Wilson is coming up here as Kaner Pena goes down to first base.
Your first baseman.
This will be very interesting as Liam Wilson takes on Fernando Rodney.
Wilson 1 for 4 on the night. Hasn't struck out, hasn't walked. A base hit earlier in this one.
The Royals fans sensing a big moment here. Rodney deals. That one hitting the bottom part of the dish for strike one as he just gets that outside corner.
Yeah, showing the professionalism there. Catcher sets up right where Rodney hits the ball there. No need to try and frame that one. Hits it head on for strike number one.
Sets up again. Rodney deals. Swing and a miss for strike two, and just one strike away.
And the tunneling action on that pitch is, for lack of a better term, just gross. You can't even just tell from the arm angle where he's throwing it from. It looks the exact same coming out of the hand, and then the curveball just drops out of the bottom of the zone.
Wilson 1 for 4. Here comes the 0-2. That one missing downstairs. Wilson stays alive.
3 pitches on the outside part of the plate in a row. After hitting 2 batters, Rodney may be a little bit hesitant to come inside against Wilson with the bases loaded.
Well, that'll suit Wilson well, who's worn one too many pitches this season. Hernandez sets up outside. The delivery, that one's down the line. That's a foul ball. The home plate umpire waves it off and says that one was foul. Wilson had everybody jumping for joy in the grandstand, but the home plate umpire, Steve Knight, says that one dropped foul.
Yeah, the Hastings faithful not thrilled about that call at all. That one landed just on the outside of the chalk there.
And keep in mind, too, so with the 3-umpire system, Mike Guthrow, the crew chief, is set up more at second base with the situation where it is. So he's not really in any position to call that one foul or fair. Even Dino Ramel over at third was signaling fair and starting to give the waves home, but Wilson's got to step back in the batter's box here with the bases loaded. The 1-2. That one's popped up. Reyes Cruz waves it away. Pena makes the catch, and the Hamilton Cardinals win it by a score of 6-2.
Yeah, what an effort by the Cardinals. Soldana starting things out for them was excellent, making it through 6 innings of work, and then bullpen took it on from there, just not allowing a single run in the late stages of this one. Just a tough outing there for the Royals, who were not able to get the bats going here tonight.
Well, and I think another big thing is, you look at Enrique Soldana and the start that he had. He was a big story in this ball game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 6 2/3 innings, 1 earned run, 2 runs total allowed, 3 strikeouts, 1 walk. But the thing that he was doing so well tonight was the soft contact. He was getting the ground balls he needed. The fly balls that were being hit weren't being hit very far, and when they were being hit pretty far, they were hit to the right parts of the field. And from there on, the Cardinals' defense just stood firm. 2 errors early on in this one in the first and second, and then after that, they were perfect throughout the rest of this ball game.
And again, with the Cardinals, just timely hits. They get a run in, 4 straight innings, including a pair of innings where they had a 2 spot on the board. That came back in the 4th and the 5th. A big home run from Josh Williams kind of got the party started in that 2nd inning. The Royals got a couple across, but not only was Soldana big, but the offense came to play too.
Yeah, looking ahead to the Guelph Royals schedule coming up. They have a critical game against Chatham-Kent here at Hastings on Tuesday night. Then Friday they'll head to London to take on the Majors. And then Saturday evening they'll head to Welland. So a big 3 games here for the Royals. Chance to make up some ground in the standings before they head into Brantford for a game that they should win.
Just to focus back on this game a little bit here, Noam, is another key to this game too is the short appearance from Jacob Cush, going just 4 1/3, struck out 5, but you don't get the length out of Jacob Cush that you're used to.
Yeah, he only goes 4 1/3 here, 6 earned runs, and that's the thing is that he struggled tonight. There was a lot of traffic on the base paths just early on in this one. He was falling behind in counts at a ridiculous rate, and then when you have situations like that, it's tough to get ahead as a pitcher. Those 6 earned runs, I don't really think dictate how well he pitched tonight, because even when runners got on base, he then walked in and was very solid and kept and limited as much traffic as he could after putting himself in a tough situation. And then after that, the bullpen kind of locked things down. It was just that the Royals' offense really couldn't get the runners around. They left tons of people on base, especially in the later stages of this one, with two runners left on in the 7th, the 1 in the 8th, and then 3 in the 9th.
11 altogether. It's not a recipe for success, to say the very least, when you're leaving 11 runners on base. Well, the Guelph Royals, they end up dropping this one by a score of 6-2. They will fall to 16-19 on the year. The Hamilton Cardinals improved to 18-16 on the season as they keep pace with the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers, who were also winners tonight, as the Guelph Royals have a 5-game winning streak snapped. Well, you alluded to it. They play the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers. We will be back on the air for that Tuesday night affair here at Hastings Stadium in Guelph. A 7:30 first pitch as the Royals take on the Barnstormers. Well, for Noah, my name is Mark Perry. For everybody putting us on the air here tonight, we say so long from Hastings Stadium in Guelph. You have been watching Royals TV.